Are we live? We're live, I think. And you can see by my look, if you're watching the video of this, real Italian mobster hours happening over here. Really got it going on. All right. I'm not going to start too much patter just yet, guys, because probably no one's watching yet. Wasn't supposed to start this until 10, which is when the main card starts. Oh, so I'm just going to chill here, wait for a few more people to join. Currently watching Sergio Pettis and Formiga, and boy, has Sergio Pettis gotten better since his debut. Remember that? Anyway, let's wait for some people to congregate. And don't worry, I'm going to be watching, for the few of you already watching this, I'll update again, of course, but I'm going to be watching the pay-per-view via Fight Pass. And if my experience with Fight Pass has taught me anything, it'll be about 30 seconds behind, at least, whatever stream or pay-per-view service you are watching. But I will let you know at the start of each fight when the first round begins. So if you want to pause your DVR or whatever to sync up with me, you can do that. But we'll get to that when the main card rolls around. I'm just going to kind of wait for people to drift in, share this shit. And 21 people watching already. What's up, folks? I think I can communicate with you guys as well. If I can figure out how the hell to look at the chat on this. Let's see, is this it? Control room. Eject any bad actors. That's a function I have. All right, if any of you notice Sargon of Akkad or something like that hopping on the stream, let me know, please. Because I have the power to fix that. Oh, Formiga's got Sergio down. All right, hold on. Chat, is this you guys? Do you see my comments coming up in the chat? All 32 of you? All right. It's great. It's a really small chat window. It's super convenient. I can see about 2 comments at a time, so I have to scroll just to see one comment go. All right. We're all communicating. We're good. All right. So we're not going to start in too much earnest just yet, folks. I'm going to wait for people to kind of drift in. I didn't actually schedule this to begin until the main card begins. But who knows? If you're lucky, I might just talk to myself the whole time anyway. Who's the person who actually knows fighting? Dangerous TM. Because frankly, if they don't qualify as a friend as well, then it's probably not worth watching the fights with them. I mean, that's why you're here to watch with me, right? Because we're such good friends. Maybe I should use my camera controls. You guys like this? Tell me when to stop zooming in. I can't. Is that good? Is that? Have you learned to spell dangerous since you were 13 years old? I mean, I don't know how old you are now, so. Maybe I should actually zoom out, huh? That's good. All right, I'm going to share this link around. I'm going to hop up and grab a drink and whatnot. And when the pay-per-view gets closer to starting, we will start this thing in earnest, as promised. All right. Formiga is on Sergio Pettis' back, which means he is almost certainly about to be submitted. All right, 58 people so far. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Is that Conor Ruebusch or Marlon Brando? late stage Marlon Brando, maybe. All right. So hopefully I will be able to Lad beating Evinger. Pretty damn nuts. I still haven't seen it. I missed it. I just saw the highlights of the finish. But did not expect Aspen Lad. I mean, I know her game is strong top control, ground and pound and whatnot. That's the kind of stuff she usually does. But to do that to Tanya Evinger is pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever seen anyone out grapple Tanya Evinger, or certainly not overwhelm her on the ground like that. That's crazy. So I'm going to try to interact with you guys via this chat here, just so we're all on the same page. I don't think it's, I mean, I'm not that popular, so hopefully everyone here will be cool. But if things get out of hand, I don't have someone to moderate, I don't think I can handle that on my own, then I may start taking questions from Twitter. But for the time being, everything seems cool. And thoughts on the UFC replaying Lentz's trash post-fight speech? I have a feeling somebody in the UFC brass requested that specifically, because to my recollection, they don't usually, like, when they do replay fights, they don't usually replay the post-fight interviews, do they? So it seems strange they chose not only to replay that fight, which was certainly not the most impressive finish. I guess maybe it was the most action-packed. I don't know. I didn't catch them all. But I don't think it was an accident that they chose to replay that particular fight, including the post-fight interview, where, for those who missed it, Nick Lentz gave a shout-out to my homie, Brett Kavanaugh, Special K. So, just great. Oh, you love Nick Lentz, do you? Yeah, this is like when Phil admitted on the show that he loves Michael Johnson. Like, what the fuck? You have a genuine fondness for Michael Johnson? An absolute goober. All right, so what's our main card? I guess I'm kind of alone in this, huh? I mean, I can't be alone, but, and y'all know, if you know me, you know I'm cynical as fuck, especially after all this time covering this sport. You don't get to talk about this shit professionally for this long without developing a healthy hatred for it. Semi-ironic. I mean, truthfully, guys, I also just like to bitch and complain about things. It's fun. But how are y'all feeling about this undercard? Because I don't know. I'm not that into it. Like, it's all right. It doesn't feel like I mean, certainly a couple years ago, if they had a main event this gargantuan, they would pair it with a really stacked undercard. I just don't think that's going to be the way going forward. Formiga takes a decision over Lil Pettis. No surprise there. Hey, you know what? Maybe Formiga will get a title shot at flyweight. He's been one of those guys. Oh, he's getting a post-fight interview. I don't know if he's ever gotten one. He's one of those guys, man. He's in like that Rafael Assunção kind of position at 125, where he's clearly one of the very best in the division. He only loses. I mean, he's not in the same position as Assunção, who almost never loses, except to, you know, once to the guy who's now the champ again. But still, you know that, like, if Formiga had just lost one of those pivotal fights, he could have been in title contention, and he was just always this short, and nobody cares about Formiga, so no one's demanding it. No one cares about flyweight in general, to be honest. But this is a good win, man. Sergio Pettis has been looking really, really sharp and clearly making big improvements. I think he's growing into his frame and just looks more and more comfortable. I would not hate to see it. The trouble is now the champ is Henry Cejudo, who already beat Formiga. But still, you know, it'd be cool to see him get a little momentum here. Okay, let's see. What are your guys' thoughts? Will Dr. Philip be joining us? Let me see if he's online. I assumed he wouldn't be because it's like, what is it? Like 3 a.m. for him right now? Something like that. But he was tweeting earlier. Let's see. Is that the UFC playing that music? What is this music that's playing in the arena right now? That was like some generic triumphant action movie music. It sounds familiar. What is this? I would care more about flyweight if the UFC cared more about flyweight. You're not wrong about that. They have not done anything to create much narrative in that division. C for San Diego was not expecting the stash. Well, drink it in, buddy. You are officially on a mustache ride. Yeah, I mean, people seem to agree. The undercard's all right. It's all right. I mean, it doesn't need to be good, and the UFC knows that. It's just unfortunate they figured that out, don't you think? Would love a stacked card that leads up to something like McGregor Khabib. I mean, come on. Remember UFC 189? You had fucking McDonald Lawler 2 right before McGregor Mendez. I'm pretty sure the rest of that card was pretty damn exciting too. Since we're talking about it, let's look back. Let's compare this to UFC 189, which at the time was kind of like the big event. The really like historic feeling major event. Great poster too, now that I see it again. Jeremy Stevens versus Dennis Bermudez. Gunnar Nelson, Brandon Thatch. Tomas Almeida. Was he making his UFC debut against Brad Pickett? Second one, after he knocked out Yves Jabouet. Oh, third one, actually. But people knew who Tomas Almeida was at that time. That was a draw if you were a fan of the sport. Matt Brown versus Tim Means. Cody Garbrandt, Henry Briones, Louis Smolka, Neil Seary. There are definitely some slow spots on here. Like, for example, John Howard and Cathal Pendred. A classic to be remembered for all time. But just look at the main card of UFC 189. Like, I don't think I'm just speaking with the benefit of hindsight here when I say this looks like a fun and violent card that I care about, that has like some stories built into it. And I just don't think you can say that for 229. Certainly been fun to watch so far, though. As is often the case, the damnedest thing about MMA is that you really don't have to be that good at promoting it or understanding it, and it's still a pretty exciting sport. So maybe Dana and Co. lucked out in that front. All right, I don't think Phil's online, folks. So just going to be solo. We'll see if at some point somebody else wants to join. We'll see how well this does, right? I got 190 you watching right now. That is badass. I assume that will pick up, provided most of you don't get really tired of me by the time of the main event. So if this goes well, and I enjoy it, and I enjoyed the last one that Pat and I did, it was just that we did the entire card and it was exhausting. So main card only. We'll see how it goes. And in future, maybe we can do this more often. And maybe I can get a more interesting backdrop soon. Wish me luck on finding a nice apartment that's attractive to look at. And then we can, we'll see if we can have some guest hosts on and whatnot. Do some fun chit chat, answer some questions, all that shit in between sort of calling and analyzing the fights. All right. And hey, if you guys, I'm gonna enlist your help. I need to move more. I don't know what you mean. Do people move a lot on their streams? I mean, I'm streaming on YouTube here. I'm not. Clearly, if I was a big deal, I'd be doing this on Twitch if I knew what the fuck I was doing. Let's see if I can bring my camera controls back. I'd like to zoom out a little bit. I feel like the camera is uncomfortably close to my face. How's that? Is that a little better? Let me get this distracting vacuum shadow out of the way. We can zoom out a little more. Is that good? Get a better view of this little double chin action. All right. That looks good to me. So what do you guys think about my new working theory, huh? You've been a couple more feet. Like that? You want to see my Ken Shamrock shirt? Huh? How's that? Looks backwards to me. I assume it looks good to you. So how many people are on board with my take on how the UFC matchmakers are handling the sort of fallout of each Contender Series show? Because more and more it seems like they know exactly what kind of fighters Dana likes. He's a fucking ape who claps when he sees one other ape fall down. Like, if you can knock a motherfucker out in the first round and show nothing of your skill set and be faced with no test and prove nothing, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I'm not saying it necessarily should. If you're exciting, you're exciting. That's as good a reason as any for a promoter to want you. But those are the guys who get picked up on Dana White's Contender Series. And more recently, it seems like he's been giving out like 2 and 3 contracts per episode. And then, of course, they, as was apparently the case with Jalen Turner tonight, they also pick people up. It's a resource too that once they have those people on their radar, essentially, if they need a short notice replacement like they did tonight, they'll grab them for that as well. But doesn't it feel like, this is my actual take, doesn't it feel like getting a knockout on that show is like a Pyrrhic victory? Because this is what the UFC does. If you impress Dana White, they're probably like, we already have like 600 fighters on the roster. We should probably do like trial by fire for this guy right now. We don't have time to test and think about each one of these prospects, right? And he's signing too many of them. We already have too many, and Lord knows we have trouble meeting our contractual obligations and giving them the number of fights we're supposed to give them. So, sorry, you win on the Contender Series impressively enough to catch Dana's eye. You are getting thrown right into the fire. Jalen Turner's best opponent before he fought Vicente Luque tonight was Max Mustaki, the guy he fought on the Contender Series. And Max Mustaki is 6-2 against very much regional level competition. So, I mean, Turner's obviously got some talent, but Vicente Luque was always going to knock him the fuck out. Sorry, I'm trying to locate my live stream here. We are officially, it's main card time. We'll see. Give it about 3 minutes and the Fight Pass version will start up. Oh, it's going. Fucking John Malkovich. This is John Malkovich, isn't it? All right. The strange way he enunciates everything. He says, "For there can only be one king." Fantastic. I wish he'd done that in that bad Russian accent. What movie was that from? Where he was like a Russian gangster and he had a really bad Russian accent? Oh, guaranteed they paid Malkovich more than 95% of the fighters. Although, in fairness, that means that maybe they gave him like $30,000. So he speaks like he's shaking to the core. Yeah, but with fury, with righteous fury. 230 people watching this. What's up, folks? All right, so the main card has begun. I guess I'll go through the spiel. I should turn down my goddamn headphones because John Anik is losing his mind right now. So what we're doing here, this is a Heavy Hands livecast. I hope that, I assume at least, that many of you are listeners of the podcast Heavy Hands, the original, no longer the only, but certainly the original podcast dedicated to the finer points of face punching. I'm your host, Connor Ruebusch, and tonight we're going to be watching UFC 229. I'm going to be doing my best to interact with you guys, answer your questions. If the stream gets, the stream chat gets too insane or unruly, I'll be taking questions from Twitter probably. But all going well, we are going to enjoy the fights together, and I'll be doing my best to, analyze the action, sort of give my live in the moment thoughts on what kind of technique and strategy we are seeing play out. And, all of that. I don't know how to describe what I do. I have no idea what my job is. Dominic Cruz with a like cute little boy haircut going on. He looks like a handsome little lad, doesn't he? All right. Joe Rogan is screaming. It stands out a lot more when Dana White isn't screaming with him. Gonna turn that down another couple of notches. So let's see. Let's take a look at our card, folks. And, feel free to turn me down. Oh, I should mention this. Forgive my ADD. I'm guaranteed to be lagging behind you a bit. Like, for example, Joe Rogan probably stopped screaming minutes ago on your end. But if you would like to watch at the same time as me, so we can react together, maybe even hold hands, then I will be letting you know when each first round of the main card begins for me. So if you would like to pause your DVR, your stream, or however it is you are watching the fights, and wait to catch up to me, basically. It's probably about 30 seconds lag, maybe a little more, maybe a minute lag, up to a minute lag or so, because I'm on YouTube. So there's stream lag and the Fight Pass lag. But that way you can sync up with me if you want to sync up. And if not, you can just watch the crazy knockouts. Seems to be the theme for the night so far. We've had 5 pretty nasty knockouts tonight. If you just want to see it for yourself and then watch with bated breath for my eventual reaction, watch me just sort of staring for a minute and a half until I go, oh, then you can do that too. 273 viewers. Jesus Christ. The pressure is mounting, guys. I can't handle this. I think I'm going to back out. I gotta go. Okay, so let's look at our card. You can keep up with my picks. I'm interested to hear your guys' picks too. I haven't been looking at the stream for the chat for a couple minutes, but I will check in. First up, Michelle Waterson versus Felice Herrig. I am taking Felice Herrig there. I generally like her better as a fighter. But Michelle Waterson is quick. Herrig is sometimes inconsistent. I have heard from some sources that she may have other personal reasons to be inconsistent. Not that anything bad is going on in her life, but some people seem suspicious if perhaps her sort of recommitment to the game has waned. So I'm a little concerned about that one, but I like a good, fundamentally sound boxing game. I like good counterpunching ability. I like size and strength relative to your opponent. And Waterson has always been like a flyweight in the strawweight division. So I'll be taking Herrig in that one. We'll see how it plays out. Don't hold me too much to my picks, folks. I'm not that good at picking fights. Heavyweights, Derek Lewis versus Alexander Volkov. That's happening. It's a Derek Lewis fight, so it'll probably suck up until the moment that it doesn't. But at least Volkov is I mean, this is how great heavyweight is. He's about to, if he wins here, and I did pick him, he's about to announce himself as like one of the top contenders for a title shot. And he's literally just Alexander Gustafsson without the wrestling. Like, he's really tall. He throws a lot of jabs and a lot of right uppercuts. He doesn't have very good defense. His footwork's maybe better than Gustafsson's, although he's fighting slower opponents, so it's kind of hard to say. And unlike Alexander Gustafsson, he would not take down the likes of Daniel Cormier and John Jones. He would be taken down by both of those men probably with ease, even if they were fighting at the 205-pound limit. So that'll be great. Volkov's probably going to jab Lewis apart, and who knows, maybe he'll eat a big overhand right at some point. Then we got Ovince St. Preux versus Dominic Reyes. Reyes is super exciting. For those of you who don't know, like he is just a blast to watch. Also super tall for a light heavyweight. Unlike Alexander Volkov, Reyes looks like he's got some defense, which is one of the most promising things that I have seen out of him. I mean, the crazy, deadly striking and everything is great, but his fight with Jared Cannonier, there were a lot of nice slips and pivots and a lot of counters interspersed between those defensive moves. So he was defensively sound. Or at least had some good defensive skills to start with for such a young, inexperienced fighter. And more importantly, he was using his defense. He wasn't just making the super aggressive Jared Cannonier miss. He was making him miss and then punishing him. So Reyes could absolutely surprise me. and win this one. Like, I think it's very possible, but OSP is one of the most experienced guys at 205. He's crazy tough, and he's weird. I don't know. I have a hard time picking a newbie like Reyes over a guy like that. We'll see, though. I mean, it's not like OSP's game is flawless. And we got our co-main and our main event after that. Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis will probably be an absolute banger. I'm not 100% sure why it's happening, although honestly, I mean, it's Anthony Pettis. He can still be fighting top guys, even if in a sense he sort of seems like he's being fed to them. I will say that Pettis is one of the most dynamic and creative finishers in all of MMA still, I think. I think the game has sort of passed him by, but God help me if Tony Ferguson doesn't love to eat shots in the first round of every single fight. So if Lando Venata, like on a massive debut, when he should be totally overwhelmed by the circumstances, if he can just about finish Tony Ferguson, there is no reason that Anthony Pettis is not going to be an equally massive danger in the first. So still interesting there, and it should be fun, though I do expect Ferg to win. And then the main event, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that off and on the whole time in the lead up to it. So I'll save most of my thoughts and spread them out. But I'm really excited for it. That's obviously the only reason any of us is really watching this pay-per-view, right? I'm not paying $65 to see Ovince St. Preux, I can tell you that much. Sorry, OSP. Let's see what's going on with you folks in the chat. Boy, the frozen image I see of myself on the screen is not flattering. I don't like this. I look dumb. It's not just the mustache. Can I expand this chat window? Pop out chat. Oh, that's better. All right. It'll be easier to interact with you guys now. Okay. I like that better. Let me close down all the other tabs I have open. I do this thing where I get like movie recommendations and shit from people. And then I just keep that thing, the Google search of that recommendation open in a tab for about 5 weeks until I eventually get frustrated and close it. So let me close some of those. Here we go. Walkout now. Journey for Felice Herrig. Not at all a basic ass choice. Very good. Turner KO was a late stoppage. Leonardo Gonçalves. It wasn't the only late stoppage tonight. I think you could argue the Ryan LaFleur stoppage was late as well. And, well, shit, the Gray Maynard stoppage was late, considering that his corner should have saved him probably the moment that first round started to go the wrong way. Will Lewis poop his pants this time? I believe, Jerry, you mean boo-boo. Is he going to boo-boo his pants? Ultra low latency setting at Lion of Liberty? Let me know what you're talking about. Guys, I can't show you the fight. Like on YouTube, they will. If that's why you're here, I just want you to know. I'm going to be talking about the fights while they happen. I'm going to be analyzing. We're going to be discussing and just having a good time. I cannot stream the actual fight. You'll have to actually find another way to do it. Let's be real, folks. Like, you don't have to buy the pay-per-view. Be resourceful. All right. It's not that fucking hard. You're clearly on the internet already, so find a fucking stream if you want an illegal stream, right? Oh, I certainly don't buy all the pay-per-views. Yeah, 100 people are just going to drop off the stream right now. 193. Oh, we're losing them. Sorry, folks. Oh, one came back. Thanks, buddy. I don't have the means to stream it, my dude. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to do that. I have a webcam here and it's hooked up to my computer. And when I click start live hangouts, it shows my face. But I don't know how to show anything else. And I'm also not going to create a new account to stream it. Find a stream, dude. I can't give you an address here, you know, but like just find a stream. They're not that hard to find. Ask a friend who watches fights. He'll know one. That's what I used to do. Pretend to play the newest UFC game. Yeah, I have so much respect for that guy. A true soldier for real. Jerry's here for the mustache. Oh yeah. The Seb, the main card began a few moments ago. It's 10:14 Eastern time right now for me. Pay-per-view usually starts right around 10 p.m. So currently Michelle Waterson has entered the cage. It's the first fight of the pay-per-view. Felice Herrig is going to be walking out next. Oh no, Herrig actually already walked out. She came out to Journey because that's just the type of gal she is. Tail of the tape here. Get yourselves ready. Again, I will let you know when the first round begins. Generally, my the way I measure it is whenever the referee says fight or go or let's get it on or everybody look at me instead of the fighters for just a second. Okay, go. Whenever he says his catchphrase, because that's who we're here to see, that's when I'll say now. Holy shit, what is Bruce Buffer wearing? Oh. No. This ain't it, Bruce. I'm not on board with that fucking jacket. Do you remember when Bruce Buffer was like, Nate Diaz should bow to Dana White and the Fertitas, or maybe it was to the WME people. He should bow and scrape for them. And then Nate was like, fuck you, bitch. I don't bow for anyone. And he was like, I didn't literally mean bow. You know, he was like quickly standing up from bowing as he said it. Like, yeah, well, obviously not that. It's just being figurative. I can't answer that question. Yeah, folks. Yeah, the McGregor fight will be in about 2 hours, probably. Could be quicker if we get quick finishes, and there is a possibility of that in quite a few of these fights. To be honest, probably maybe not this one. We'll see. These are some dangerous fighters. So you know, if you're just here for the main event, or you want to hear me talk during the main event or whatever, it'd probably be in about 2 hours. Why are Jackson Winklejohn fighters such bad strikers? Why do guys like Condit succeed despite of it? Well, Condit's a special case in that he may have the best chin ever in MMA. Despite having some of the worst posture I've ever seen, doesn't seem to affect him. He can take a hell of a shot. All right, here we go, guys. Herrig versus Waterson starting in a couple seconds. Watching the ring card girl, Ariani. Here we go. First round starts now. All right, so again, you know what we're looking at here. Like, I like Waterson. She does a lot of fun techniques, and like I've seen her do some technique demonstration type things. Clearly, she understands like how setups and things like that work. But I don't think she's particularly disciplined. And to get to the question of, I mean, I wouldn't say Jackson Winklejohn striking is just objectively bad necessarily. There's certainly elements I like about it, but sort of the like, I think Winklejohn really still leans on the idea of just having a huge variety of things that you can throw is what it means to be an unpredictable striker. And you know the Bruce Lee quote, right? Probably better to have a specialized game where you have a particular way of approaching things. You have a couple things you're really comfortable with. Generally, I think it's often a good idea to work on your strengths and not just try to cast a wide net. So that's part of it. I don't think they do a great job with fundamentals either, like the things I would consider fundamentals. Certainly not defense, going back to Condit's chin there. But Waterson in particular, You know, she's got these nice kicks, nice side kicks she's landing here against Felice in the first round, but she doesn't seem to have a lot of discipline. She'll get over aggressive, and a lot of it is just like those switch ups where you just do side kick. Okay, now it's a high kick. Okay, now it's a low kick or whatever. Now it's an axe kick. Those work if the opponent is waiting to see what kind of kick you will throw next. But if that's kind of the basis of the trickiness of your style, a little bit of pressure, just the initiative being taken away from you is going to have a huge impact on your ability to actually be tricky. So, and right now, Herrig she caught her with a decent counter left hook right there. You know, I like the concern here is maybe Michelle's footwork, but really she's quick rather than having particularly good footwork. She's circling a lot, which is good. Good idea. Herrig's kind of foot slow, likes to plant her feet and throw combos. Michelle isn't letting her set up. I kind of expect that at a certain point, Michelle is going to get frustrated or just get kind of greedy and tie up with her or decide to get comfortable enough to decide to exchange punches. But she could win a relatively lackluster fight doing this, maybe. But I also think Felice can actually adjust, change her timing, and especially lately, she's been getting better and better at that. She needs to go to the body, probably. Best way to catch somebody who's just circling away. She keeps throwing for the head. Low kicks, left hook to the body. Just hit the biggest target while it's moving. And once she starts to slow down, then you hit her in the head. You think Jackson Wink is going down, Jerry? It doesn't seem like it's I mean, I wouldn't predict that. It's such an established school. Oh, big right hand from Felice Herrig. Sorry, I'm not supposed to just be calling what's happening in the fights, but that was nice. See, all Felice has to do is just, at a certain point, she was like, I'm going to rush forward and throw several punches. And one of them landed. Michelle does not have much in the way of defense. Footwork is mainly just moving a lot, which is not the basis of good footwork. You got to be in position, facing your opponent, denying angles, just moving out of the way. What happens if they catch up to you and you're out of position because that's the only way you know how to move? And you get your fucking head snapped back. All the streams are getting shut down. I'm sorry, man. It doesn't surprise me. I'm watching on Fight Pass right now. That's for an event like this. The UFC is already pretty draconian with how they police that shit, but I thought, I mean, I definitely would buy the pay-per-view for this. I know, I realize everybody else wouldn't. $65 is like. Let's see. I got 40 seconds left in the first round, folks. 40 seconds left. So if you want to sync up with me, and I'll let you know when round 2 starts as well. Herrig just tying Waterson up mainly. I think she's got double underhooks. Maybe an over-under here. Over-under. At the very least, though, I like this as a strategy. I don't think I honestly watched this close enough to give you a score. There was a lot of nothing happening for a while. Probably Felice. She's at least landed the memorable strikes. But I like this as an approach. Felice is bigger, and being bigger can genuinely be a detriment for a striker, especially if you're cutting weight to have that size advantage. But for grappling, for tying people up in the clinch, mass matters. We'll see if that has an effect on Michelle's stamina. Seems like she's breathing kind of hard already, but I like that from Felice. Yeah, I like Herrig too, and I also like, it's very endearing. She used to have all these problems with anxiety and shit, and she has improved tremendously. I think it's great to see. Like, she's really rededicated herself to the sport. She seems to be taking it really seriously, and she never looked this sharp before as a fighter. She used to freak out and gas or get inside her own head. Ooh, there was a head kick from Waterson I missed. Nice highlight there. There's a big right hand. More kind of across the nose from Felice. Wasn't super clean. Okay, round 2 is about to start for me, folks. If you want to sync up. Round 2 starting in a couple seconds. Right about now. Round 2 just started for me. Felice putting the pressure on. I like that. Again, Waterson goes into the clinch. Maybe she feels like she'll be better there. Maybe she wants to grapple with Felice now, but I don't think Waterson's the kind of fighter who can really fight a disciplined outfighting game off the back foot all night. She's just not that fundamentally sound as a striker. Tying up again willingly with Felice. I really don't understand that. If Felice is pushing her against the fence. I mean, Michelle was landing some knees at the end of the first round. She was getting some good shots off on the clinch, but again, Felice is bigger and probably stronger. And I would assume that this favors her strategically. Herrig's got a nice high underhook. You know, you see the way she's working that. Too many fighters they have their arm under the other person's arm. They think that's good. She's crawling that hand up the back, lifting up on the underhook. Good technique for control. And Waterson is just straight up engaging in a clinch fight here with Herrig. Oh! And now she ate a big left hook on a brief break, and now they're tied up again. Yeah, I like the way this is going for Felice. She came out immediately, second round, lots of pressure, and then Waterson right into the clinch with her. I don't get it. I'm like 30 seconds behind. It's not too bad. Could be worse. It's kind of what I expected, actually. College student already getting robbed. Yeah, I feel you, man. God, I hope whoever's supposed to collect my student debt isn't watching this. They'll know where I am. Yeah, I would give you guys a stream if I could, folks. I don't think that's a smart idea to do on this. And I wouldn't want any streamers getting shut down as a result of being shouted out, even on a relatively small thing like this. But they're out there. Ask around. Waterson just kicked Herrig right in the damn head. And a hip toss. Classic women's MMA head arm throw. She's in mount. Ooh, landed some good shots. All right. Dynamism, man. She was not having a good start to the round, but she is scrappy and always has been. We'll see. You know, maybe someone who can really push Felice and put her in trouble can bring back those old demons. Good looking half guard here in top position. Good elbows from Waterson. Felice does not seem like, I don't know. I think she was rocked by that head kick for sure. It was a clean shot. It looked like shin to like to the cheek area. And she's mostly just holding on to Waterson from the bottom. Here we go. Little hip activity now. She wants to shrimp in and get her guard back by the looks of it, but Michelle's doing a great job. She's keeping her knee right up tight against Felice's rib cage, right under the arm, basically. There's just no room for her to, especially not the way she has to cling on to Michelle here because of all this pressure. There's just no room for her to get her guard back. But she's sure as hell not going to make progress just clamping down. Like, Michelle's got a free hand. She's going to win this round. And she may have won the first. She did land a big flashy head kick in that round too. It wasn't nearly as good as the one she just landed, but this is really low-key commentary. How should the commentary be? For those of you just tuning in, if there are any of you, I seem to be just losing numbers, so we're doing technical analysis and shit here. It is going to be low-key. I mean, should I do what Luke Thomas does? Should I get blitzed on the stream? Should I just drink a bunch of like douchey craft beers with like 68 IBU where they just taste like nothing but hops? Should I do that? I might grab a glass of whiskey at some point. Ooh. Herrig was getting close on a triangle armbar there at the end of that round. But she looks tired, man. And she may have lost 2 rounds. Never be Luke Thomas. Hops are in. I'm gaining an appreciation for IPAs. It's not a balanced taste, but a lot of the foods I like are not balanced, folks. I like olives and other things that have really strong, distinctive flavors, so I can get into it. Jameson IPA. No. Is that Caskmates thing? I haven't tried that. Mm. It wasn't even a head arm throw, folks. It was a nice hip toss with an underhook. Holy shit. Michelle is learning. I don't have the McGregor whiskey. I'm not going to fucking buy it. I did a episode of Dan Tom's podcast, Protect Your Neck podcast. And he did an impromptu live review of it because he bought a bottle. And his description was essentially, it's light in the ass, which I think is probably a smart move. I have to assume there's a lot of people who don't really drink whiskey, but who do like Conor McGregor. And this may be the first bottle of whiskey they've... Ooh! Herrig throwing big punches. She's putting the pressure on. She's still trying, man. Michelle's looking a little tired, too. She was working hard. We'll see. Come on, Felice. I'm rooting for her if you can't tell. I like her. I like Michelle Waterson, too, though. Who doesn't? She seems very likable. She's very nice and exciting. Anyway, I think it might be a smart... Ooh! Reversal from Felice Herrig. Michelle Waterson got an aggressive guard, but she's very much attack over position. Both on the feet and the ground. Big elbows from the bottom, though. Felice cannot just expect to ride out and guard. She needs to go to work hard. She needs to be getting up on a foot, getting posture, and raining down some shots, I think. Here we go. Building up a little bit. Waterson trying to play a high guard, trying to threaten an arm. Yep, turning her hips. Anyway, Dan Tom described Proper 12 as light in the ass, which is probably a good marketing move because people who don't drink whiskey will buy it for Conor McGregor. And they probably wouldn't like it if it tasted too much like really distinctively like whiskey. So if it's smooth and drinkable, that's good. Tends to not be what I want out of my whiskeys, is just sort of bland smoothness. So I probably won't buy any of it. I see no reason to. Main event, Kirill, will probably start in about hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half from now to be safe. Heavy liver edition. Who won? What time do you think it is? Main card just started, folks. We're watching the final round right now of Felice Herrig versus Michelle Waterson. Herrig trying to stage a comeback. She is on top. But to be honest, Michelle is... Now she's going for an omoplata. Waterson's just way more active. She's got a shin across. Nope. Okay. Yeah. It's just like Felice is not... She doesn't seem quick enough to match this kind of aggression. And unlike Michelle, who was in a nice half guard position in the last round, she's just sitting here in guard. And I think, honestly, like what we're seeing in MMA these days... Ooh. Strange stand-up there, I think, from Jason Herzog. Maybe he stood him up because Michelle was the one on bottom and she was the only one being really active. Maybe that's fair. Herrig was just trying to hold her down. But they were definitely working. Michelle was landing a lot. And a lot of elbows in the clinch here. Yeah, it seems to be a development in MMA these days. Like ground and pound from the bottom is coming back. That seems to be, like, for a lot of fighters, what the guard position is for now. It's like, well, if I get taken down... and I have no other choice but to be stuck in guard, I can elbow the shit out of the dude's head who's on top of me. And I can, like, you can throw you get a nice tight grip with your legs around the other fighter's body. You can really leverage in some pretty good shots from the bottom, and you can use their desire to press into you against them, right? Like, that's been a thing for ages. I remember Josh Barnett doing it to Randy Couture at like UFC 20 something. but like you can post on the fighter's head, and the fighter wants to get down to your chest to avoid being hit. So you push them away and then let them fall into the elbow. And moves like that, like, yeah, that's kind of what a lot of people have been really effective with their guard striking lately, striking from playing bottom guard. So I think Herrig's lost every round of this fight. I mean, I gave her the first, but I missed a lot of it, so I'm not going to stand by that. I think she's lost the last two. Like, she just needs to throw. Oh, she got front kicked in the face by Michelle. Yeah, she just needs to like let her hands go and throw a combo of like 5 punches. Just like 5 straight shots down the pipe would be fine, you know? Just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't stand in front of her. She really can't box with you, but she's tired. Good showing from Michelle, man. At the very least, you always have faith in her to go for it. She is an aggressive little maniac. Throwing a lot of nasty clinch strikes as well. She's just, I mean, really, like a lot of what it comes down to is she's just been super active everywhere this fight goes, throwing a ton of kicks at range, tons of strikes on the ground when she was on top, tons of strikes even when Herrig was controlling her in the clinch, tons of knees to the body and everything. And then when she was put on her back in that third round, tons of strikes there too. She just did not give Herrig any place to rest or recover or think. Good showing. Nice work. It's got to be Michelle Waterson's fight. There have been a couple knockouts from the bottom. Of course, there have been up kicks from the bottom. That's how they usually happen. But Uriah Hall got one on his season of The Ultimate Fighter. That Nico Price one, that was fucking bizarre, right? You remember that? Nico Price fought, who was it? Randy Brown. And like they got into a leg lock position. Price ended up with essentially Randy Brown's chin propped on his instep. Like they were almost like in a north-south kind of position, and he just saw his chin there and went boop and knocked him out with a hammer fist. But there are a lot of positions playing from the bottom where people aren't braced for strikes and aren't expecting them. And if you have no choice but to play guard or positions like that, I think there's always an opportunity to shock somebody with a well-placed strike. Man, if Michelle Waterson fought Tatiana Suarez, that'll be a bad fucking night for her. Michelle Waterson takes the win. Well deserved from what I could tell. Plug this shit again, folks. Or should I wait? I'll wait. Just the first fight of the night out of the way. So what's up, people? I'll wait. Wait for the post-fight interview to finish. Michelle Waterson wants to be the first UFC champ who is a mom. I mean, it's a nice dream, but it doesn't seem super likely, does it? You imagine Michelle Waterson beating. I mean, I guess anything could happen. I don't see her beating somebody like Rose or Joanna or Suarez. Or, I mean, Jesus, she's already small and undersized. Imagine what Jessica Andrade might do to her just with sheer physicality. All right, folks. So I got some of you in chat. Heavy Hands does not have a Discord. We have a Slack chat. That's for Patreon subscribers. Yeah, I'll let you know when each round starts going forward. That's fine. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, this is the Heavy Hands livecast for UFC 229. I am not showing the fight. Sorry, can't do it. I lost about 60 of you, at least, when people realize that I'm not actually streaming the card. I don't know. Should I change the title of the stream? McGregor versus Khabib, Heavy Hands livecast. I don't think that implies that I'm streaming the fights. I don't know. I'm not trying to be sneaky. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know when the next fight starts. Next one up, of course, is, oh God, which one was it? Derek Lewis, Alexander Volkov. All right, that'll be fun. By which I mean it'll probably be very boring until it stops being boring very suddenly. But heavyweight MMA, what do you want? So what are you guys' thoughts? Main event, that's the one we want to talk about, right? McGregor versus Khabib. Who you guys picking? Consider a Patreon hangout? Like as a Patreon reward? I don't know. That seems kind of weird to me. A Skype group call for the live cast. Oh, like people who support the Patreon would be on? Maybe I'll do that someday. That could be kind of cool. Probably not for the whole thing, but like bring people on in segments, maybe between the fights. That would be kind of cool. Am I Jack Black's son? I'm actually Jack Black's dad. Yeah. Khabib minus 160, Connor plus 140. I mean, I don't know. I'm not good at betting, folks. The only bet I placed tonight was for Tanya Evinger because I thought it was crazy she was an underdog to Aspen Ladd, and it turns out Aspen just fucking sunder on the ground. So let's see. Picking McGregor with the expectation to be completely wrong. Same, except I'm picking Khabib. But she daughtered her. Whatever. Yeah. Daughtered her. Who else? What are you guys' picks going? Volkov versus Lewis. Sugar Kiwi says it's just going to be like 2.5 rounds of jabbing until Lewis builds meter to land a nuke, isn't it? I mean, that could happen. Yeah. Lewis didn't have the best chin, so like it's possible that he could just get dinged by a nice clean shot. Volkov's reach is a big advantage, and he certainly uses it, but his defense sucks. And he has a great chin. He's only been TKO'd once by Vitaly Minikov, who's a really good fighter. And he still wasn't knocked out cold. But also, like, even by heavyweight standards, Derek Lewis is probably the heaviest hitter in the UFC. So could very well be him just charging up that one perfect right hand until the opportunity presents itself, or more likely until like the 50th time the opportunity presents itself. This is Derek Lewis we're talking about. Minty Hippo. I can drink salty Khabib fan tears. Easily the worst fan base in MMA ever. That's a stretch. This is MMA we're talking about, pal. And one of the other guys in the main event also has an incredibly obnoxious fan base. You know, I like to be obnoxious in support of my favorite fighters, but like, I think it's a pretty low-key brand of obnoxiousness. You know, you all know Jose Aldo is my sweet, darling boy, and I will protect him to the ends of the earth until my final day. And someday I'll go to his burger restaurant. I bet it's good. But McGregor and Khabib fans are both just fucking obnoxious. I'm kind of find myself rooting for Conor, though, to be honest. Even though I picked Khabib, like, I don't like all of Khabib's associations with Kadyrov and those people. And Conor's like super fun. And wouldn't it be great if he just comes back after 2 years away and losing a fight to Mayweather? And it's like, hey, maybe he doesn't really care about MMA anymore. And he just comes back and does what he did to Aldo to a different fighter. That would be pretty crazy. And it's possible because he already did that shit to fucking Jose Aldo, aforementioned the sweetest darling boy, and also the best featherweight of all time. So McGregor is something special. So is Khabib. I mean, that's why we're watching this, right? Well, I'm not telling you anything new. Let's see. Me being the only member of the Rafael Assunção fan club. Sadly, that's probably true. But I love Assunção, man. He's so good. He's so good. He's exactly the kind of fighter that's easy to underrate. He's just a technical marvel and super intelligent. Great athlete too, like underrated in that regard. He's very fast. He's got a really well-rounded game, and he's really nice and respectful and laid back. He's just cool. It's just the only problem is his fights are often slow, but it's because people tend to get countered by him once and then change their minds about how they're going to fight him. And he's like a Tyron Woodley type. He's not particularly bothered about making things exciting. I don't know. I love Assunção. He's great. Let's see. Reading some more comments. I want McGregor to win. This is Sugar Kiwi again. Mostly because Khabib winning actually kind of has weird real-life political repercussions as it gives Kadyrov another sports star to prop up for propaganda. That's not a bad point, honestly. I mean, I think that's a very fair motivation. I mean, Kadyrov's regime like literally hunts down and kills gay people, you know, and that's probably not even close to the worst thing he's been associated with. So like anyone who's associated with him can really get fucked as far as I'm concerned. Just had a burger from Aldo's place. Pretty good. Nice. Good to hear, man. I've seen them. They look good. And, man, I just love Jose. He's so great. Frankie Edgar fans, absolutely one of the worst fan bases. I remember after his second fight with Jose Aldo, his second fight, okay? The first one, I think Aldo pretty clearly won. But watching live, Edgar being so much more active and so much more aggressive, especially in the later rounds, I can understand that people thought it was really close. It's fine. Frankie makes things look close. And that's a legit skill. But in their second fight, where Frankie was very clearly outclassed in every round, a Frankie Edgar fan went online and posted a video trying to explain how Frankie had dominated the fight, and he grabbed a screenshot or clip of every single strike that Frankie landed in the bout. Many of these were glancing blows, not nearly as clean or as telling as the ones Aldo was landing on him. And Frankie Edgar fans are something else. That's just what that is. If McGregor wins, next bet I'd take is the over-under on when he's stripped of the belt. Not a bad idea. Assunção was salty as fuck after his last fight, complained to Brazilian media about people finding him boring. I mean, I'd like to say he should understand why people find him boring, because often he is, but it doesn't affect my enjoyment of his fights. I understand his frustration too. Where like he's really, really good at what he does. Clearly one of the best in the world. Okay. Bruce Buffer is announcing the names of Alexander Volkov and Derek Lewis from within his grandmother's tablecloth. Volkov looking amped. He's going to throw so many fucking jabs. Shevchenko fans. A growing group of madmen. Although, in fairness, I am officially the president of the Shevchenko anti-fan club. So, #1 hater. Will I have more boxing film studies on my channel? Yes, I would like to. I would like to put out some more, in addition to the heavy hand stuff that's going to be on this channel going forward. Derek Lewis being announced. All right. So again, I'll let you know so you guys can sync up with me if you want. I'll let you know when each round of this fight starts. Herb Dean is here. Alexander Volkov better pray he doesn't get hit with that right hand, or he will eat about a dozen more before Herb wakes up and stops it. Okay, first round begins right now. Volkov is so tall. He's going to really use that reach. I'm not sure I like this. He's trying to dance around the outside. I kind of would have liked to see him pressure right from the get-go, you know? Back Derek up. Derek is super inactive. He can't fight at much of a pace. He gets tired too easily. Doesn't have great footwork. Doesn't have great defense. I see no... Oh! There's a big right-hander early from Derek Lewis. Didn't land it. But I would like to see Volkov do what Conor does, what McGregor does. Use his reach aggressively. Keep Derek Lewis on the end of that jab and push him back. Make him fear and respect it. Control the fight. That way it's going to be a lot harder for him to actually surprise you with a counter. When you have the initiative, it's just much easier to predict things. Derek Lewis doing Derek Lewis shit. Man has back problems. He weighs like 260 pounds. And at least once a fight, he throws a jumping scissor high kick. Oh, he got hurt. I don't know what he caught him with. A weird short little punch. Lewis covering up. Volkov is going for the finish. Trying to hammer fist the back of the head. Lewis looks all right. I don't think he was that hurt. I just think the moment he was then completely off balance and Volkov was swarming him in. Oh! Big right uppercut from Volkov. Counter to the big right hand from Lewis. Lewis covering up, toughing it out. Matt Brown body syndrome. Yeah, was it a body shot that hurt him? Too much boo-boo. He's pawing at his eye. Oh, but good. He poked Volkov in the eye. I think that's what happened. All right. Joe Rogan seems to believe that Volkov is currently claiming it was an elbow strike. I didn't see the eye poke, but that sure as hell doesn't mean... What? Herb Dean said, why did you stop it? Did Volkov stop it? I thought Dean stepped in. Very confusing. Herb Dean really weirdly indecisive, and like the last few years of his reffing career have just been not that great. He does not seem to do a very good job of like, you can criticize Mark Goddard for like clearly enjoying his authority over the fighters a little too much at times. Loves to be the boss man. But like Herb Dean, I think, has really lost his ability to like be authoritative and clearly communicate his desires to the fighters. And that's a big problem for a referee. You got to be in control. Oh my God, a bizarre takedown attempt from Derek Lewis. Did not work. It did not work at all. Volkov was just too long for that to work. Lewis got his leg wrapped all the way around Volkov's, and nope. He's strong, though. Pops back up to his feet. They're in a clinch. Volkov trying to kick him in the damn head. Oh, big right hand from Lewis. Thank God Volkov has a chin, huh? Woo! See? It could happen at any moment. Uh-oh, Volkov fucked up. You don't try to take Derek Lewis down. Mistake. He's going to do nothing, wait for you to get tired, and then eventually get on top of you. Everyone tries to wrestle this dude. When it turns out, like, his striking's not that great. His defense especially. Just hit him. We'll see. See, he's just controlling Volkov here. This is his move. He just stays chill as fuck when he gets taken down. He goes to a Zen place, meditates for a couple minutes. And he's really strong. So the moment you give up a bad position, he just will bench press you off of him, basically. It's a good move, though. Volkov elbowing the body. Also choosing to keep side control. I think that's a smart move, rather than going to mount. I mean, it does allow Lewis to spin like this, but he gives up his back. Volkov, easy back take there. Lewis just very slowly turtled up. 2-on-1 control for Derek Lewis. He's got 40 seconds left in this first round. He's just keep a 2-on-1, maybe try to get his head outside that arm. But honestly, just ride it out. The Derek Lewis specialty. And he's got the head outside the arm, but he rolled over. He's got a lot of oop. Uh-oh. This is what happens. Derek Lewis is now on top. This is why you don't fucking try to grapple him. Oh, the big elbow from Lewis. Volkov fucked up, man. Oh, devastating right hands. Classic Derek Lewis shit happening. He's just throwing some fucking bungalows. Oh, yeah, baby. Come on. Got to be like 5 seconds left. Round's about to end. Who won that round? Probably Volkov, right? But clearly the one biggest shot of the round was from Lewis. That right hand on the ground was nasty. Nasty. Yeah, pretty fun. It's fun in the very particular ways that Derek Lewis fights are fun. I said, man, you don't try to take this dude down. Everyone's like, well, he hits really hard. I should grapple him. He's big. And he doesn't waste energy on the ground. And if he gets on top of you and it's heavyweight, your grappling sucks too. So he will find a way to get on top of you. That's when his power is really dangerous because he doesn't need good footwork or setups or technique. He can just drop bombs on your face. So yeah. Clean jab to the chin. A couple of you in chat said it was a jab that hurt Lewis. Yeah, I think he was more than really badly hurt. Like, he reacted defensively, and then he doesn't know how to defend strikes, so he just put himself in a really bad position, and Volkov swarmed him. But he was definitely stunned. Oh, they're re-showing the Lewis ground and pound. Only like one really clean shot, but man. All right, round 2 is about to start, folks. If you want to sync up with me, round 2 of Lewis Volkov will be starting in mere moments right now. All right, it's a Derek Lewis fight. That is for damn sure, folks. This I like better from Volkov. Putting a little pressure on. There we go. Keeping that jab in Lewis's chin. Use your reach proactively. Yeah. Oh, big combination. Lewis is hurt again. The reach is a huge problem. He's on wobbly legs and he's exhausted. Big bomb. This is Volkov should just fire a bunch of jabs. You know? Just keep it out there. You don't have to do anything else, bro. Just jab him a bunch. I see, like right here. Why is he not feinting? Why is he not probing? Why is he not firing the jab? Maybe he's tired too. That's the thing when you grapple with a guy like Derek Lewis. That's strength, man. It might gas you out to use your strength a lot, but having to match strength with a stronger fighter in a tie-up, that's exhausting. I don't know. Volkov looks a little tired too. I think he's trying to pace himself. And he's not very good at pressuring. Lewis doesn't have good footwork, so he can basically give him as many outs as he wants, but he's not really keeping himself between Lewis and the center of the cage, is he? See, he's walking along the cage after him. He's following him. That's a little better. Getting back into open space. Oh, another jab. Here we go. Yep, do it, Volkov. Take him down. Good idea. you weren't carving him up with jabs or anything. Grapple with him. Uh-oh. It just not worth it. Don't try. It never works. The man can barely grapple or wrestle. Oh, and yet almost no one gets away with basing their game plan on out grappling him. It's too dangerous. He needs 30 seconds on top of you, and he can end you. And yeah, Volkov looking tired, man. He's not pushing much of a pace. He's gone southpaw for some reason because clearly the left jab wasn't working. And he eats a big right hand because he already doesn't have good defense, and everyone's defense suffers when they suddenly decide to switch stance. Lewis should throw another big overhand right. It'll land. Southpaw, he's following Lewis around. He's not cutting him off, but Derek Lewis still has no interest in getting away from the fence. Both guys are exhausted. Body kick from Volkov. Every once in a while, he'll throw a nice, intelligent strike. He's back to orthodox now, at least. Man. Why do people like heavyweight MMA again? Like, am I the only one who's figured this out, that the fights generally suck and they're really slow and everyone gets tired and they're not good at fighting? And like having a super low barrier for how easy it is to knock people out is it's a great way to have a bunch of bad fighters who still manage to be top 10. It just sucks. High kicks from Volkov. Just jab, bro. Just throw jabs and feint. It'd be really easy. Your arms are really long. It's kind of your thing. Front kicks, that's all right. Use those long linear strikes. You have got a man in front of you. I guess he's worried about being countered, but like, honestly, it'd be harder to be countered if he would feint and keep that left hand active. Throw some double jabs. Real hard to counter a double jab with a big single shot, and that's all Lewis is throwing. You know, just pop him. Just focus on speed. You don't have to match power with Derek Lewis. Lewis, man, if only this were a 5-round fight, because he would get exhausted from the very first minute, but as long as he doesn't get KO'd, like, he will just indefinitely be a massive threat. He's just a gun platform, just sort of bobbing around in the water. And if you wander in front of it, it might shoot you. Might shoot you dead. Oh, there's a big right hand from Lewis. It's just right hands. There's nothing else coming, but Volkov is also a heavyweight, so it's keeping it somewhat close. Volkov, I think, I mean, if he didn't... Oh, Volkov's mouthpiece is out. He got hit by a right hand. Don't do that, Derek Lewis. Don't give him time to point at the mouthpiece. Oh, well, Derek wants a rest, too. You guys love this. You should love it, right? This is awful. I love it. Yeah, that's how I feel about everything from 185 on up. Derek Lewis just shaking his head in disappointment. How do you not love this guy? His fights are so bad. But at some point, somebody gets just exploded by a massive power punch. And he's so funny. He's such an entertaining guy despite all of that. You're just backing up, letting him control the range, and he keeps attacking that belly. Coach isn't wrong. Don't back up. Lock him up. Put him on his back. Good advice. I know Derek Lewis has his back problems, but for real, he could just take Volkov down, and it doesn't matter how good defensively Volkov's guard is. There are a few heavyweights more dangerous to have on top of you than Derek Lewis. If Derek Lewis could develop... okay, third round's about to start. Sync up with me if you want. Here we go. Third round starts. Right now. Yeah, man, if Derek Lewis could wrestle, like, he would be a terror in this division. That power is such a factor when he's on top of his opponent. He just doesn't have the striking skill or the stamina to make it a factor consistently on the feet. And he starts the round. Despite what his corner said, he is immediately backing up. He's tired. Can't blame him. Hard to follow advice that feels counterintuitive when you're tired and you keep getting jabbed in the face and all that. I say keep getting jabbed, but Volkov hasn't thrown a jab yet, I don't think, in this round. He's strangely sparing with what should be the most obvious weapon in a matchup like this. He's feinting now. I like that. There we go. Feint and then a jab, messing with the timing. It's going to make it harder for Lewis to counter him. Lewis goes for what is apparently his specialty takedown, which is like, it's like a tabletop sweep. He's trying to put it, I'm sure there's a name for that. I'm sorry I don't know it, but he is trying to prop his leg behind Volkov and then tip him over it with his arm. He's trying to tabletop him. Oh, there we go. Bob and weave. Left hook from Derek Lewis. That got in. I mean, you got to be disappointed in Volkov, right? Like, he's clearly winning this fight, but there we go. Big uppercut. Lewis is hurt. Volkov's pouring it on. Can't finish it. Volkov now very tired. Let's see if Lewis can hit him with a right hand. People pointed this fight out as an example of why I should be hyped for this undercard, by the way, when I was bitching about it. So like, how can you not be excited about this? Because look at it. Look at it. Lewis got punched in the eye again. Volkov hit him with some very good body shots, but doesn't seem to know how to like build off of these attacks. But Lewis ain't doing shit, so. He tried for one. It's funny, right? He had like a weird ass takedown. You might bank on that to be a thing that works, but he tried for the same weird ass takedown twice, even though it didn't work the first time. So when they were like push him backwards and take him down, he couldn't even think of a different way to try to do it. It's just, it's heavyweight. There's the jab from Volkov. Keep it going, buddy. You know, you don't have to throw it hard. Just poke him. This was at one time the co-main. Yeah. Somehow the UFC will never learn their lesson. Like, heavyweight mostly sucks. And most of the fights that don't suck do suck right up until the moment someone gets knocked the fuck out. It's just not good. Watch bantamweight, people. Featherweight, lightweight. That's where the fucking action is. Women's strawweight. So where the fun fights are happening nowadays. 170 is starting to suck too. It just feels a little stale right now. It'll still be good. There's a lot of people around that size. Boy, oh boy, huh? You guys loving this? Volkov just he can throw the same left kick 3 times in a row, and Derek Lewis doesn't block any of them. But here he comes, the final flurry. Come on, Derek. Keep going. Bungalows, baby. Swing. You got to be able to put together like a dozen strikes. There's got to be a real rally attempt. No, he had 3 in him. Here he goes. Come, he's trying to wind up again. There it is. Come on, buddy. Oh, come on. This is so bad. 145 of you. What's up, people? Hope you're enjoying the commentary. I mean, frankly, commentary is going to be more technique and strategy focused, but you're watching what I'm watching, right? Uh-oh. There's latency. Something happens. I know it. You spoiled it for me. Yes. Yes. I know what I'm looking for. Yes, baby. Come on. Oh, fuck the right hand. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. The ground and pound. What'd I tell you, huh? Hell yeah. Derek Lewis, bitch. Dominate me for all 3 rounds, motherfucker. I will knock you out. Hey, but to be fair, how could Volkov have known the right hand was coming? Very hard to predict. Amazing. Heavyweight MMA. Oh boy. Hope you guys enjoyed that, right? That is a Derek Lewis fight. To the core. Look at him. He's gonna take a nap. He's literally about to take a nap. He's so tired. He got really tired really fast. He didn't do anything. He looked bad. He held his back and looked like a stiff old man. And then at some point, he knocked the other dude out. That is a Derek Lewis fight if I've ever seen one. Yeah, it's worth watching them for this reason. You get to gripe and bitch the entire time with good reason because it sucks. And then this happens. Oh my God, what a right hand. Oh, just watching the post-fight replays right now, folks. The ground and pound is horrible. Oh my God. Caught him while he was kicking. You know, maybe Volkov should have relied on his jab. Who would have thought of that, though? Oh, man. You can just see the terror in Volkov's eyes. He falls down. His mouthpiece goes, oh, oh, my God. His facial expression as he's being murdered by ground and pound. He's literally unconscious with a look of utter fear etched into his face. Jesus. I don't blame him. What a turn of events. All right, guys. Yep. Derek Lewis took his pants off. He is now just wearing his compression shorts. Maybe he's protesting Reebok. Good for you, buddy. I'm going to assume that's what you're doing. Oh, boy. Loving your guys' comments here in the chat. Just reading over your reactions. As soon as I saw this, I'm going to have to avoid the chat maybe a little more during the rounds in the next fights because I knew that was coming before I saw it. Volkov is like, what the fuck just happened? Derek Lewis, bitch. Derek Lewis, why'd you take your pants off? Because my balls is hot. Need he say more? I ain't all that technical, but I'm getting there. I don't think you're getting there, buddy, but it doesn't matter. Keep doing your thing. It's good. That is oh my God, a terrible right hand. Horrific. Just savage. Damn, dude. Volkov thought he was going to counter him. Don't try to counter Derek Lewis. Just keep poking him with your jab. Oh. Lewis is making it easier for when he runs to the bathroom. Thinking ahead, man. No Americans in the fight. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, pal. Oh, you enjoy my color commentary? Thanks, buddy. Yeah, he held his eye 3 times and it never actually got poked. He just kept getting punched in the face and then doing this and backing up. He's like King Hippo. Like, you hit the vulnerable spot and he just starts blinking red. But nobody could take advantage of it. It's amazing. Remember when Travis Brown kicked him in the belly? All right, Derek Lewis just offered to come smoke weed with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan shouting out Derek Lewis's Instagram. Good on him for that. It is a good-ass Instagram. Very worth following. Woo! Derek Lewis, folks. Lewis has to be the holder for the record of most rounds lost in fights won. He's up there. If Brian Ortega had more fights, he'd probably be in contention too, because that's a sure sign of his career. But yeah, Lewis never wins until he does. All right. He literally got bodied for 2.95 rounds and won. Yeah. Yeah, Lewis said his balls was hot. Chris Pratt. All right, let's see what's popping on Twitter. They're recounting the post-fight interview. Joe Rogan says, Derek Lewis told me his balls got hot. And Dominic Cruz responds, he's a genius. If that isn't MMA, I don't know what the fuck is. All right. They're still just reminiscing about that post-fight interview. What kind of suit did Conor come walking into the building wearing? I got to see that. Khabib looking cash, the zip-up hoodie, and the papacha. I hope McGregor does his most Vince McMahon walk yet. If you guys are just joining me, people picking up. All right, this is the Heavy Hands livecast. I'm watching UFC 229. I'm not streaming the fights themselves. I'm sorry, you'll have to find the stream somewhere else for that. I'm doing color commentary and live analysis. Ooh, I like that suit on McGregor. That is actually really sharp looking. Sometimes they're a little silly, but that's a good look. And I'll be, analyzing and doing commentary on the fights and whatnot, answering your guys' questions, cracking up when Derek Lewis does Derek Lewis shit. So welcome. Hope you guys enjoy it. And if you want to sync up with me, don't worry about it right now. I will let you know when each round begins. So at the start of each round, whatever fight we're watching, provided I don't forget, you can sync up with me and watch at the same speed I do. Or as many of you were clearly doing, you can watch ahead, and then when it pops up in the chat, LOL, holy shit, what? The fucking madman, he did it. I can't believe it. Laugh my fucking ass off. This clown shoes bullshit. This sport is so fucking stupid. Then I'll know something good is about to happen on my end. But it looks like we're about 30 seconds to a minute behind, probably counting in both latency on YouTube and the lag on the Fight Pass version of the pay-per-view, which is what I'm watching. So if you do care to watch at the same time as me, so if I'm commenting on something that's happening, you know what I'm talking about, sync up with me then. Volkov competing for lowest fight IQ ever. Yeah. I mean, in fairness, Derek Lewis was also in that cage. But there's a kind of, when you see how often it works, there's a kind of brilliance to his stupid style, isn't there? Yeah, it's heavyweight, man. It sucks. Learn that lesson now. You'll be happier. If just don't have good expectations, and you'll get to enjoy heavyweight for what it is, which is like the comically bad B movie of MMA weight classes. It's still fun. It just sucks. Oh, don't worry. You guys can spoil it for me. I want you to, if you're in here chatting with each other and reacting, go for it. I may, when we get to like the main event, I'll probably not look at the chat during the fight. I may look at it between rounds, if that's safe. But I would rather not have that one spoiled. But don't worry about it. It's not your guys' responsibility. Talk as you will. Don't I miss Fedor? Who doesn't? I mean, I don't miss him in the sense that I want to see him fight again, because I have not enjoyed his recent fights, but man, he was so good in the day. So fast. Such good in transitions. Like, no one in heavyweight now knows how to transition from one phase to the other. Like, legitimately, that's how Daniel Cormier beat Stipe, because he was like, hey, at light heavyweight, we still transition. So sometimes when you think I'm wrestling, I'm striking. No one's really good at that right now. Cain Velasquez could do it well. But, man, nobody transitioned like Fedor. Hand trap his way into a boxing exchange, punch into the clinch, threaten a throw. You try to save yourself from falling over, and he lets go of the clinch and punches you in the face again. Just, there's nobody like Fedor. Not a heavyweight. So next up, Dominic Reyes. Who are you guys picking in this one? What do you guys like? Reyes is a lot of fun, man. It would be nice to have him win. I like OSP, but I'm not rooting against him or anything. But it would be nice to have some fresh blood in this cursed division. Reyes is 28, which is essentially like 18 by light heavyweight standards. He's 6'4", according to Wikipedia. And again, as I said before, it stands out to me that he seems to have some decent defense, striking defense, which is not common at any level in MMA. I really liked the way he was slipping and countering Jared Cannonier, but also, like, take a look at Reyes' record. He's been outside the first round once, Tellingly, that was his third fight. Tellingly, the one time he didn't finish his opponent in the first round, he didn't get a finish, which sort of suggests that we might have some problems with gassing. But also, he's very young and inexperienced. 28 is not very young. It's my age, but he started fighting in December of 2014. So he's not even into his, fourth year of pro fighting. And he's just been knocking a bunch of people out. So the problem is, you're a prospect, you dominate all your opponents, you don't know what you don't know. That's why prospect losses happen. Your confidence grows out of control, or you just don't realize where your weak spots are until somebody has the courtesy to show you. And OSP, if we're talking about the inexperience of Dominic Reyes, Ovince St. Preux, I mean, he had a shitload of fights in Strikeforce and all that before. Let's see. In the UFC, he's had 17 UFC bouts, 34 total. And if you look at his Wikipedia, it is blue names all the way down, basically. You know, you got to get down to his pre-UFC, pre-Strikeforce days to start finding a lot of... I mean, really, he was in Strikeforce in his, 7th professional fight. So, lots of very valuable experience. He's fought everyone from, Gegard Mousasi to Alir Latifi to, he's fought everyone. It's heavyweight, light heavyweight, so it doesn't look that impressive. But it's a lot, and that counts. It's unlikely Reyes, he can surprise OSP, but it seems unlikely he's going to show him something. He can show OSP something he's never experienced or never expected. Let's see what's going on in the chat, folks. Oh my God, it's naked pictures. No, it's not. Looking at your predictions for this fight. When is the fight, and will you stream the video? No, I'm sorry, guys. I cannot stream the fights. If you're joining up for that, I apologize. I'll try to keep updating throughout this. So if you guys are looking for a stream of the fight, you won't have false expectations. I can't show you the fights. I'm just doing commentary and talking about them here. Let's see. OSP going to keep the gate locked. How OSP will win in the goofiest method you can think of. Ooh, boy. I don't know. How bad is Reyes' ground game? It doesn't even have to be worse than OSP's. It just has to be slightly less weird. That's the thing. Again, young prospect. So there's a lot of shit that he's potentially unprepared for. Von Flu choke? Can we see the 4th Von Preux? I'm up for it. OSP is a live dog here. I absolutely agree. Reyes has proven that he's dangerous, and he does look to have some good baseline skills, but he hasn't really been tested yet. That's both a good and a bad thing. No one has been able to test him, but a lot of unanswered questions going into this one. There's only one tall guy MMA fighter with actual tall guy fight IQ, John Jones. Yeah, I mean, there's genuine difficulties. Like, when you are tall, you are ill prepared for people a lot of times getting inside. And because your reach is your big advantage, and most people have such a huge difficulty dealing with a substantial reach difference, when you finally fight the first guy who knows how to fuck you up despite your long arms, you really freak out. So, going way back to Jack Dempsey fighting Jess Willard, he beat him so badly that for decades afterwards, people were arguing about whether Dempsey had a railroad spike in his fist, that he was holding an iron bar to be able to deliver that much damage. But really, he was an aggressive fighter with good skills. He threw a lot of hooks, and Jess Willard was tall and did not like having a badger in his face nonstop. So he just fucked him up and then kept fucking him up. Tall guys don't like that shit. They also don't like people who are as tall and long as them. It's another way in which they're getting used to their own reach can make them uncomfortable, because then suddenly someone else can hit them where they expect to be safe. And OSP has a good frame, so he might be able to trouble Reyes in that regard as well. No idea this was a thing. First time. This is the second time, actually. Pat Wyman and I did a Heavy Hands live cast way back in the day for Holloway versus Oliveira before Max was the champ. And we didn't do it since then. We did the whole show then, and it was pretty exhausting. But hopefully I can do this more often. I enjoy it. Dempsey Roru. Love the way that Hajime no Ippo. I don't even watch the show or read the manga. People talk about it to me a lot, so I'm very aware of it. But I love the way it treats actual professional boxing as a video game, where like you can learn the special move, and once you have it, this move works against this boss. I love that. All right, here we go. First round of OSP Reyes about to start. First round of OSP Reyes starts. Ooh, look at OSP. Starts right now. Round one, OSP Reyes has just started if you want to sync up. Yeah, I think this will stay up on YouTube. So if you want to revisit this later. Big kick from Reyes. You can see, man, OSP doing a lot of like reaching and clawing. He's not pretty technique. Reyes has already focused in on that body kick out of the southpaw stance. He's landing it. Going for the high kick. OSP is going to take a little time to warm up, probably. He likes to counter. He likes to keep a relatively slow pace and sort of do his weird pot-shotting business. I wouldn't be surprised either if we see OSP hit a takedown here. I have no idea how good Reyes' wrestling defense is. And OSP is not only a like underrated, good top control grappler and a decent wrestler, but also just a great athlete and really strong. So I would expect that he could teach Reyes some things on the ground. Reyes landing that left kick to the body a lot, though. Even being partially blocked, that sucks. OSP still trying to figure him out. About a minute in here. This is good. This is a good sign, right? I like Reyes is being nice and controlled. Very good for a young fighter. He realizes the gravity of what he's taking on. It could fall apart at any moment. We just don't know. But, ooh, right hook. Good body shot after it from Reyes. Changing levels, fighting up and down. OSP goes for a takedown. Reyes was a really sloppy shot. Reyes headlocks him and spins him. But OSP now controlling Reyes against the fence. This is the kind of phase where I expect maybe some problems. Shucked right out of that takedown attempt, but comes right back to attack, and he's wrapped up in the clinch again. So far, looking very good. And this is the thing, man. Reyes has looked sharp. And the unfortunate thing about being a prospect in this division is that nice job stopping a reap throw from OSP there. Harai Goshi, maybe? I don't know my judo terminology. The trouble is, in divisions like this, like they're so shallow that like you can be a prospect, like Ngannou at heavyweight. Oh, Reyes, tons of elbows. OSP is fighting for the takedown, trying to finish before he gets knocked out with elbows to the temple. But still, he's looking for an outside trip. Twist takedown. Nice throw. Reyes right back up. But at the very least, this is a young, inexperienced fighter being made to work by a veteran. You know? Landing some good shots here, but he's having to work really, really hard. This is the kind of shit veterans do to you. What I was saying, the trouble in these shallow divisions is like you just don't have a chance to really develop. You can be Francis Ngannou, and if you're really a next level fighter, you won't even know you're not the best heavyweight in the world or the best light heavyweight until you get to the title shot sometimes. And it's like, oh shit, there's a lot I don't know. And unfortunately, the fucking champ was the one who had to teach it to me. That's a rough situation to be in. Oh, Reyes landing some huge straight shots. OSP is hurt. He is hurt. He is just like swatting and reaching. He's trying to counter, though. It looks like he's got his senses back a bit. Reyes got to be careful. He's in a good position here, but he's got to be careful. OSP just throwing wild bombs, trying to scare him off, but Reyes has smartly backed off a bit, jumping front kick to the chin. He's got some clever shit going on here. I like that he's showing, these are great signs for a young fighter. You don't know you're going to see these things until you see them, but yeah. Joe Rogan criticizing him for letting OSP off the hook. Don't care, right? No point in going in there like you didn't finish him with that flurry. Set him up for a good shot again, like he's doing now. Put your strikes together. Don't exchange. No need. Like, yeah, the longer he's in there, the more chance it has that he will knock you out at some point, but not if you're careful and you fight well. If you fight well and you're doing this in the first round, you will be breaking him down. His chances will get less and less and less as the fight goes on, and you can stay smart and safe and have a better chance of knocking him out without putting yourself in danger. Yeah. OSP just got toes across the chin there. He's starting to get wild. Reyes now knows he doesn't have to rush in. He can kind of poke from long range and counter OSP. So now OSP is being forced to lead, and his technique just isn't that good. All right, he survives the first round, though. We'll see how Reyes deals with that. A lot of energy expended. And he looks good. I mean, he's super lean. He looks like he must be a great athlete. But we will see. Very good first round for him, though. That is a good look against a fighter like OSP. I put myself in danger with this mustache. Yeah, I might be picked up by the cops if I'm walking around an elementary schoolyard anytime in the near future. All right, folks. I will let you know when round 2 starts. I'm currently watching highlights between the rounds. There's the whistle. Round 2 should be about to start on my end if you care to sync up with me. Just don't wear a trench coat full of candy. Come on. Round 2 starts now. You gonna take my fucking trench coat away from me, bro? All right, after this, we'll have the co-main event coming up. I think I'll grab some whiskey or something. You guys must be drinking, right? That's what people do when they watch fights. It's what humans do. I am a human. It's round 2, yes. It's currently, on my end, 4:28 into round 2. Or, 32 seconds into round 2. Good kicks from Reyes. Man, his fundamental technique is like the best thing to see out of a prospect. We have a super tall guy with power and precision. Like all the shit that Dana White usually just jizzes in his pants when he sees. But there's also the stuff that gets me going. Oh, lovely counter. He seems to have good footwork. He stays really poised. Good looking defense. Man. OSP in on a takedown here, though. Nope. Good balance, too, right? Reyes was not in a great position there, but he wizarded and just struggled his ass off to get out of that shot. And now he is controlling the clinch. Very good showing so far. Even if Reyes loses here, like, this tells us a lot, I think, about how good he is. And he's not overestimating his own abilities or underestimating OSP. He seems to be taking him really seriously as an opponent. He's fighting smart. He's not being like boring and safe in that sense, but he's making good decisions. Not sure why he's clinching with OSP here since he's doing so well at range, but maybe he's clinching with him because he's dominating the clinch and doesn't feel threatened by OSP's wrestling. I think his corner is screaming at him to slow down. Oh, sickening body kick there from Reyes. Just past the 3-minute mark on my end. 2:40 over here. Yeah, like, look, Reyes is hanging back a little more now. I think he didn't want OSP to pressure him, but he's switched to counter punching, which seems like a pretty good idea. Like, nice head kick attempt from OSP. That's the shit to watch out for. counters with the jab, Reyes. I like that. This makes sense because OSP doesn't really have a lot of sophisticated setups. He doesn't really jab. He doesn't have great footwork for covering distance. And he mostly throws single shots at a time, big power shots. So, like, it kind of makes sense to counter him. Maybe not like Volkov was trying to do to Derek Lewis, but Reyes, unlike Volkov, has like defense and a variety of counters and some subtlety. So it looks like a good approach. Like OSP just can't get shit done. And his best chances are when Reyes is getting really aggressive and trying to finish him against the fence. That's when his counter punches are a problem. Low kicks from Reyes. He's just picking OSP apart here. Staying very calm, maintaining his distance. It's a good look, man. This is a solid light heavyweight prospect. Feinting, I like that. Playing with the rhythm a bit. He didn't have to be throwing so many power shots. He could really just be touching OSP up here. You know, that's the big thing in MMA, like that boxers grasp that MMA fighters don't. Is like you don't have to throw with all your speed or throw really hard. Like, don't tense up and just touch the other guy. It's sometimes a really great way to just make sure you're landing punches and getting reactions that you can then build your next move off of. Big cut on OSP here. I don't know what that came from. Another big body kick from Reyes. He's pressuring OSP against the fence again, but staying at range. Backs off. Yeah, look at that, right? OSP rushes in. Reyes just sticks a jab in his face as he comes in. What are you going to do about that? If you're not throwing your own jab, if you're not moving your head, sorry, you run into the jab. Very good. Very just fundamentally sound counterpunching. Feinting some more. This is all OSP has is just big, desperate single strikes. Could still work. It's his light heavyweight, you know? Which is like heavyweight, but somehow worse. But very smart showing from Reyes so far. Round 2 just ended for me. Move the camera towards the TV when it begins. I can't do that, guys. If you're just joining me here, this is a Heavy Hands Livecast. I'm Connor Ruebusch. I talk about fights in a very nerdy way. And I can't show you the fights. We're just watching the pay-per-view together. Hopefully you have your own pay-per-view copy or a stream or whatever means you want to use to watch. And if you would like my technical analysis as it is, then I'll be giving it to you. So there are streams and things out there. The pay-per-view is out there. But really the best move, the classic move, invite some people over. Split the cost of the pay-per-view up, make an event out of it. But then again, you probably wouldn't be listening to me if you had a bunch of people over. Maybe you are. If so, what's up, folks? Enjoy the chips. Salsa looks good. All right, here we go. Round 3 about to start right now. Round 3 of OSP versus Dominic Reyes. So far, Reyes has looked, I mean, I don't want to overhype and say sensational, but very sharp for a young prospect who's only been fighting for like 3.5 years. Very, very smart performance so far. Going for the high kick now. He's not really that worried about letting OSP back him up because basically whenever he wants, he can just let him run into a jab. Easy way to stop these big, desperate single shot attacks from OSP. And he's got enough footwork to maintain distance and not be pressed up against the cage. And when he has been pressed up against the cage thus far, he has quickly spun OSP into that position and started dominating. So, big head kick from OSP. Glanced off of Reyes' head. He seems took it just fine, though. Didn't land too clean. Not that it has to, but Reyes is just taking the right approach here. And OSP's game is not designed for this. He's trying. He's trying to, like, play with the range and a nice front kick attempt there. But his real way to do damage is to land like a big shot to the head. And he's pretty much like single strikes, lunging in. And if the other guy can counterpunch and defend himself and pop you with a jab and move his feet well without losing his balance, then like that shit ain't gonna work. There's no worse way to fight a counterpuncher than to slowly walk forward and every once in a while throw a huge telegraphed strike with nothing before or after it. There's a jab from OSP. Like, that would have been nice about 10 minutes earlier. That's the idea, though. You got to set him up. If you're going to walk this guy down and hit him, you have to set him up. Because otherwise, Reyes' superior skills are going to carry him. Reyes is, I don't know. I think he senses OSP's like starting to build up for a rally here. He might be getting tired. He looks a little jumpier, and he looks like he's like, ooh, big counter uppercut, but he's being forced to exchange more. So at the very least, more risky. He's still winning the exchanges, but I have a feeling we're looking at a big surge from OSP in this third round. He's building up to it. Reyes is winning, my friend. Dominic Reyes is dominating. Big shot from OSP. Reyes is off balance. Hard to tell if he was hurt or just off balance. OSP caught his leg on a kick. OSP against the fence. It's crazy how good Reyes' balance is. Like, OSP's not a great wrestler, but he's been in some bad positions. Like, not a great sign in terms of his wrestling skill. But he's been in some deep takedown positions and whatnot and just not gone down. All right. Final 2 minutes here. About 1:40 something on my end. Yeah, OSP pushing forward still. He's fainting a little more. The leg kicks are starting to bother him. You can tell. He's having a hard time putting weight on that right leg now. Oh, there's a big left hand, though. Reyes is slowing down a bit. This is where it gets dangerous, man. You can't throw it all away now. He's done so good for this whole fight. OSP starting to counter Reyes now. And OSP is getting closer. So Reyes feels like he has to throw. He has to open up. Combination from OSP. Huge just gush of blood on OSP's face, but he didn't give a shit. He's doing what he can, man. This is what a veteran does. He is testing Reyes. It all seems to have slipped away, but he is still testing him. When you've had as many fights as OSP, you know that you can win at any moment. Ugh, disgusting leg kick from Reyes. Reyes staying very smart here. Like, I would like to see him keep that jab out a little more, but it's getting countered. I don't think he feels safe. At the very least, he's maintaining distance. He's choosing his spots. He knows he's got this fight won as long as he doesn't let it slip away now. Nice counter there. Again, he's being forced to counter here, so it's risky, but he's keeping it together. 15 seconds remaining. Lots of pressure from OSP, but this is not what his game is designed to do. He's having a hard time building off of this. Look for the head kick. Big punches. Oh! Wow. Put a fucking stamp on it. Oh, shit. OSP went for the finish. Dominic Reyes decked him. One perfect counter left hand. Dropped him with like 10 seconds to go in the last round. Wow. Smart performance, and what a finish. Newt Gingrich is currently checking on Dominic Reyes. Good to see him. Wow, wow, wow. OSP was doing what he needed to do. He was putting a lot of pressure on the third round. He'd lost the entire fight up to that point. And no, OSP didn't win. OSP was doing his best to win, and Reyes fucking knocked him out with 10 seconds to go. Wow, wow, wow. Crazy. Oh. Commentary saying the round wasn't stopped, so not a KO. But, hey, what's up, 1ST stream? I'm watching UFC 229, my friend. McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. So we're going to see. Reyes had a nice move, man. He kind of, OSP was lunging after him against the fence. Reyes pivoted out and off the angle just drove this nice left hand in there and got a big, hard knockdown. OSP went down flat on his back. It sounded like the fight wasn't actually stopped, so not a TKO, but all the same. Oh, what a left hand. Holy shit. Yeah, and Reyes walked off. I think he thought it was done. So, like, man, what a shot, though. Beautiful use. See, again, that's what I liked about Reyes when he fought Cannonier. He didn't just have defense, he was using it. Aggressive defense. If he made you miss, he clearly understood that meant an opportunity to fuck you up for missing. Different version of it there, but he kind of was in a desperate situation, had to kind of leap to an angle. But once he had the angle, OSP had just missed a big swing. Guess what? He was there for a left hand. Yep. So we went to the scorecards. Wasn't a knockout, but I think Reyes was tired and didn't want to have to do anymore. He was probably hoping he could force a knockout by walking off. Again, a veteran move for such a young guy. What a showing, though. All right, let me listen to the post-fight interview here, guys. Man, look at this counter. Oh, beautiful. They think it was a knockout. I mean, OSP was fucked up. He did pop back up, but he probably could have forced a finish if he jumped on him. He won the fight. Dominated it, though, so. Reyes says he prepared hard. Very clear, man. That's a sharp young fighter. Looks like more of a striking veteran than most of the actual striking veterans in this division. EA, get me in the game. Dominic, you don't get paid for that, buddy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't benefit you. Sorry. All right, let me plug this stream again, folks. Plugging this shit on Twitter. I got 245 of you here. It's so good to see. Welcome, welcome. If you don't know what you're watching right now, this is the Heavy Hands livecast of UFC 229. We just finished the third fight on the main card. The co-main event will be coming up next. That's Tony Ferguson versus Anthony Pettis. It's going to be a banger. Matt Damon is looking weird. He's in the audience right now. That was unsettling. Hey, and there's the guy who plays Todd, I think, on BoJack Horseman. So we got the co-main event coming up, and then the main event, which, if you don't know, is Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Very exciting shit. I am not showing the fights on this stream, so if that's what you're looking for, I don't want you to be disappointed expecting that. I am doing live commentary. I'm analyzing, talking technique and strategy when I can, and talking about how hilariously bad and yet amazing Derek Lewis is when there isn't much technique to speak of. So I'm going to tweet this out, get more people in here to watch. In the interim, I'm going to get up and grab a glass of whiskey to drink while I watch the fights. So I'll be back in a couple minutes after this little tweet, guys. What's up, people? I'm back. Can Connor shout loud enough to replace Joe Rogan? If Derek Lewis is knocking a motherfucker out, I can. All right. So any new people here, welcome, welcome. Please don't expect to see UFC 229 in this video. But if you would like someone whose job is to analyze fights and talk about strategy and technique and things like that, you're in the right place. That's what I'll be doing, giving you basically live commentary, an alternative to Rogan, Anik, and Cruz, if you will. Dents, stains. You talking about this? It's not stains. It's paint being chipped off the wall by my computer chair. All right. So I'm waiting for the co-main event right now, folks. Waiting for Tony Ferguson and Anthony Pettis to fight. Exciting matchup. It's Anthony Pettis is like kind of washed. His durability, which has been a big part of his success throughout his career, he's insanely tough, and he still is, but it's clearly fading. He's been finished a lot more in recent fights. He had a really long losing streak relatively recently, and then got a big win over Michael Chiesa. But you know, Michael Chiesa, if there's a top lightweight, I think he's going to welterweight now. But if there's a top lightweight who is going to get like insta finished, you know, like even on the ground, Beneil Dariush, I think, shocked him with a rear naked choke as well. Kevin Lee did. Then it's Michael Chiesa. So, but fortunately for fans of reckless violence, that is the case with Tony Ferguson as well. Despite being clearly one of the best, possibly the best lightweight in the world, he gets fucked up almost every first round he fights. And Anthony Pettis is still a dynamic finisher with some killer striking. He's also got a phenomenal guard game. Really dangerous submissions. I mean, he submitted Ben Henderson. That's no joke. Among plenty of others. Chiesa's an impressive submission win, too. Charles Oliveira. He submitted Charles Oliveira. Another guy who tends to get submitted as much as he does submit people. But still. Pettis is very dangerous everywhere. And Ferguson, like, literally fights like a blind man in the first round. Like he takes like 3 minutes to get his jab on you, and until he does, he seems to have no idea where you're standing relative to him and just walks into shit. So let's see. I got a drink. Hope you guys are enjoying some inebriants. I'd probably be smoking or vaping weed over here if I didn't think it would make me a really terrible broadcaster. I'd probably be very boring. But here's what I'm drinking. You want to see? Koval, a nice little small distillery in Chicago I went to for my cousin's bachelor party. Did a little tour and bought this then. A tiny little bottle of their 4-grain whiskey, which, as I understand it, is their version of a scotch, but you can't call it scotch if you're not in Scotland. So it's made from 4 different grains. Let's see if I can guess them. Wheat, barley, spelt. Are there other grains? Rye? Rye, probably. It's very good. It's got like a nice complex kind of fruity taste to it, like scotch. It's not too like earthy like some scotches. It's nice. It's very unique. And I'm going to drink the last of it here, so enjoy it with me, folks. What's up, so fucker? No, I'm not showing the fights, man. Sorry to disappoint you. Find yourself a stream or a pay-per-view somewhere else. People are saying go to Twitch. I guarantee you there are people streaming the fight on Twitch. If you want live commentary and analysis of the fights, that's what I'm doing here. Tony versus Pettis has not started, Dr. Vamp. Tony Ferguson is making his walkout right now. You're near Sierra Nevada? Cool. The brewery? I like Sierra Nevada. You know what's crazy about Sierra Nevada? That was the first IPA, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The first pale ale, their Sierra Nevada pale ale. It's a good pale ale. And at the time, because it was the first of its kind, people were like, man, this is hoppy. Crazy. The IBU is like 28, which is really low compared to some of the IPAs that are out there nowadays. I don't think they would even call that an IPA. maybe not even a pale ale. Like there are amber ales these days that are hoppier than that. But it's good. I think I like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I think it's nice and balanced. Has Anthony mirrored Sergio's result each time they're on the same card? Let's see. The Pettis brothers. Yeah, they just always put them on the same cards. I think they don't like it, but they just do it anyway. It's a good question. Let's see. I'm going to do a little work, Control F for Sergio, so I can click through all of these pages and find him quickly. Sergio does not fight as much as Anthony, does he? All right, guys. Both men are in the cage. I'm waiting for the beginning of Pettis versus Ferguson, co-main event of UFC 229. Nerves are coming. Big one's coming up, man. Khabib versus McGregor. That is some crazy shit. I just don't know. It doesn't seem like they are actually on that many cards together. I'm bored of this. I'm not going to look up to see if Anthony loses every time he fights alongside Sergio. Let's say yes. Or, you know, does the same as Sergio. I don't know. No, this is not Proper 12, Johan. This is Koval Brewery from Chicago. Koval 4 Grain, which is their version of a scotch. I might grab a beer after this because there's not much of this left. Should you listen to me or the commentary team? I think the choice is obvious. Do you want professional commentary or a guy getting drunk on whiskey alone in a basement? Doesn't sound like a tough choice to me. Brewery. There we go. Sugar Kiwi. Sergio won at 197 while Anthony lost. So they haven't always mirrored results. Does anyone think this fight's going to end by decision? It doesn't seem that likely, does it? Certainly possible. We got two very, very tough guys here, but also two of the most prolific finishers in the UFC by far. Yeah, Tony does look really lean, doesn't he? Weirdly so. I don't know. All right, here we go, guys. Ferguson Pettis. First round's about to start. There's Brittany Palmer with the ring card. First round begins. Now. They sure love to wait. First round of Ferguson Pettis just started. I'm about 4 minutes, 54 seconds right now. If you care to sync up with me, please do. And I'll tell you when the next round starts if you didn't do it already. If not, watch ahead of me and enjoy my delayed reactions to the violence unfolding. Big kicks, leg kicks from Pettis to start. Ferguson going for his own weird leg kicks. He likes these weird lunging, like side-on leg kicks. He fucked Danny Castillo up with those. Putting the pressure on. Good idea against Pettis, but yeah. Ferguson is just such a weird fighter. He's so porous in the first round of every single fight. Bad defense. Seems to have a really uncertain sense of distance when he first starts fighting. He just walked into a right hand from Anthony. This is the dangerous part for him, man. He's a top lightweight right now, and Tony isn't. Tony. He's a top lightweight right now, and Pettis isn't. But it doesn't matter in this round because Pettis is still incredibly dangerous and Ferguson incredibly vulnerable. Albeit tough, but vulnerable. Body kick from Pettis. Nice little karate-style punch off the same hand. Caught him afterwards. Right kick and then quickly a low right jab off that. The jab is getting in there now, though. Here we go. Once Ferguson starts landing his jab, everything starts to come together. He's got a very good jab when he throws it. He dominated RDA with the jab. He didn't dominate, but he did really well. Now he's trying to counter. Okay, I like this, though. He's getting into a rhythm. Looks like he's relaxing a bit. He just needs to chill out on these weird, big, loaded-up counters. Tony is at his best on the feet when he throws a 1-2. And then otherwise, he's at his best on the ground. But he's starting to warm up now. Anthony doesn't like the pressure. Very much, a lot of trouble for a kicker, right? Pettis has a good right hand. And again, he's tough, he's fast, but kicks are his bread and butter. And it's very difficult to kick going backwards. Spinning back fist caught Tony there, but he didn't care. And now he is chopping down Anthony's legs. Still keeping the pressure on, jabbing, feinting. Another big low kick. I want to see that jab come back, Tony. The kicks are working, though. And Pettis is backed into the cage, and his footwork just falls apart every time he's backed into the cage. Combinations now from Ferguson. Good jabs, good feints. Ooh, almost got his head kicked off by Pretty Tony, but don't matter. And now the pressure is coming. He's starting to like jog after Anthony now. Starting to do what he did to Barboza, which is exactly what Phil and I said would probably be the best approach for him on this week's episode of Heavy Hands. Yeah, lots of pressure. Anthony does not like it. He's now calling Ferguson on, but like Pettis gets away from the fence. He's got to jog backwards, and then he's against the other side of the cage. He just doesn't. He can't keep his footwork together in these positions, and certainly not with this much pressure. Yeah, it's starting to fall apart for him, I think. Still dangerous, of course. Good uppercut. Oh, right hand after it from Tony Ferguson. Pettis is like calling him on, beckoning him in, but he is just getting chewed up now. Doesn't have defense. His only choice is to throw back. And Ferguson isn't walking into the shots anymore. The first round ended for him about 3 minutes in. Now he's second round Tony. And that is not the kind of Tony Ferguson you want to be fighting. Spinning elbow from Ferguson a couple seconds ago. Yeah, he's getting his sense of distance now. He's pulling out of the range of some of these shots. Starting to move his head. Still very weird striking, but he's flowing now. Got a smile on his face. Big right hand, but Tony comes right back with a stiff jab. Still backing Pettis up. Good body kick. Combinations of strikes now. Pouring it on. Here we go. Still grinning. Anthony's grinning back at him, but it's a show. I guarantee it. He is not having as much fun right now as Ferguson is. Oh, Superman elbow off the cage. Ferguson doing Showtime shit against Showtime. That's the way to end a round that was started kind of rough. Yeah. So that's basically what was expected, I think, from this fight. Just accelerated. It didn't take Ferguson a whole first round. And good for him, because he was getting chewed up by the kicks early. But he started to pressure, got his jab on Pettis' face, and the momentum is all his right now. All right, folks, I'll let you know when round 2 starts. Watching the UFC 229 right now. Tony Ferguson versus Pretty Tony Pettis. All right, here we go. Round 2 starts. Right. If you want to sink, it starts right now. All right. I want to see Ferguson against Pettis' guard at some point, right? He's getting real loose. It could... Oh! He's rocked. He's rocked. Pettis countered him with a big right hand. Ferguson's in huge trouble. He's rolling like a fucking loon to survive. Oh my God. Leg lock attempt from Ferguson. I think he survived it. Tons of blood coming out of his. That might be from Pettis, actually. Hard to tell. I think the blood's coming from Pettis' head, just covering Ferguson. It might be coming from Tony's nose. Hard to see. Woo, he's in trouble. Pettis is on top. Pettis' ground game is very solid. But Ferguson, super dangerous and tireless. Almost certainly still, despite being hurt really badly there. Really, really badly. I think the cut's on Ferguson. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It looks like it's coming from Pettis because it's like all over Ferguson's arm right now. Ferguson looking for tons of elbows, staying super active, making space. Nice job, feet on hips there. Yeah, it's like it looks like a cut on like Pettis' hairline. Yeah. It is. Oh, Ferguson's back up. All right. Woo, and he hops right back in with a jab. Let's see. Yeah. Referee is now checking the cut. It is on Anthony Pettis. It looks like Ferguson's unmarked. I don't think it's that bad of a cut. I just think it's on the head, so it's bleeding a lot. But it's in the hairline. I think it's fine. It's kind of a gash, but it's in the hair. He's fine. It's not going to affect the fight, really, and he's not in danger. It should be allowed to continue. It's not in a bad area. He wants a rag to clear Tony's eyes. I'm not sure if that's allowed, but that doesn't bother me. It's not his blood, after all. All right, Ferguson is just grinning, and Pettis is having fun with him. I don't know. I think he might really be enjoying it now. Fight is restarted. 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Pettis going for wild shit. Oh, my God, and Ferguson is matching him. It's all about the pressure for Ferguson. He got countered hard. He was badly hurt, but he just doesn't slow down. And he's still putting the pressure on. He's still got swagger. He's still chopping away at Pettis' legs. He needs to get that jab back on him. This kind of shit is going to get him countered again, but still, the pressure is good. And Pettis hit him early before the pressure had really built, before he, like he still had the energy from the round break. Less likely, I think, that happens again here. Still, Ferguson won the first round and probably may end up losing the second. Unusual for him. He's working the body now. The pressure is mounting. Pettis is getting tired. Look how square he is and standing up tall against the fence. He's just in no position to do anything. He can punch, he can exchange. That's his only choice. And granted, Ferguson standing up tall, leaning away with his chin high. He is so vulnerable for those counters, but he just doesn't stop offering things to react to. And it's very difficult to process at the same rate as Ferguson is prompting you to process. Lots of pressure. Pettis gets open space and just runs straight back into the fence on the other side. Shots getting in from Ferguson now. Combinations. Stance switching. Changing angles. Getting countered. Doesn't give a shit. Still swinging. He kicks his way into range. Oh my God. Ferguson's an animal, man. Pettis is now cut over his left eye, in addition to the big cut in his hairline. Face just covered in blood right now. Minute and a half left in the second round. Ferguson's recovered just fine from the huge, 3 knockdowns earlier. And is now pouring it on with a smile on his face. Body knee from Ferguson. Big counter right from Pettis, but I don't know. It's still, again, despite that huge moment, it does not feel like it's going well for Pettis right now. He's in serious danger. He's starting to duck his head and shell up. He's clearly tired. You can see his legs are going. He can't sit in a crouched bent knee stance anymore. His legs are tired and weak. Great body work from Tony Ferguson. His striking is so wonky when he puts more than one shot together, but he's smart about how he chooses to use it, Looking for more elbows. He's doing a good job, Tony, of being tricky with his rhythm. He's given Pettis a little bit of bouncing to read now and then. I like that. He puts his shoulder forward like he's going to throw a left hook, but he pops out a little light right hand instead, soft right. Pettis' defense already isn't that good, but the way Ferguson, he's pouring it on and he's doubling up off the same hand. And Pettis goes for a cartwheel kick, which is awesome, of course. But that can't be your response to being cornered and in serious trouble. You know, like you got to have fundamentals to respond to that with. You got to be able to maintain your stance and create distance and keep it. You got to be able to fight behind a jab. You have to be able to tell how far away your opponent is and how close you are to the perimeter of the cage. And that's the shit Pettis doesn't have. So, barring another crazy, I mean, Ferguson probably won that round, right? I don't know. You could call it a draw because no one has ever been in as much trouble as Tony Ferguson was just then. No one except Ferguson himself, probably in the Venata fight. But he put it on Pettis after that. I don't like Pettis' body language in the corner. Oh, his hand's broken. Duke Roufus stopped it. Uncharacteristic for Duke Roufus, but that is a good call. I think he said to him, I don't want you fighting if you don't have that hand, because he was getting messed up. And if he can't hit him with the right hand, which is what he dropped him with in the second round, then I think that's fine. And I don't think he was going to come back, man. I think Roufus may have just saved him some embarrassment because Pettis is too tough for his own good. You can see that. The kind of punishment he was enduring there, he's so tough and will never willingly quit. So if he doesn't have that right hand to knock him down again, the wild kicks were not going to work under that kind of pressure. No way. So I like that call. Good shit from Duke Roufus. Wild fucking fight, wasn't it? Woo! That was nuts. A corner finally did something good. Yes. Very rare in MMA. Even tonight, Gray Maynard's corner sacrificed him to Nick Lentz. Isthmuses. Heavy Hands has been a big part of me getting into MMA. Thanks for everything you guys do. Thanks, man. Thanks. And thanks to everybody for tuning into this. I got over 200 people watching this right now. 224 of you. In case you don't know what you're looking at, this is the Heavy Hands livecast of UFC 229. We just watched Anthony Pettis' corner throw in the towel after he broke his hand in a wild second round against Tony Ferguson. Insane fight. Highlights showing Pettis just blood gushing from his head on top of Ferguson, just grinning, screaming in joy to the crowd. What a fight, man. Very much all one or the other, right? It was either Pettis was doing very well or Ferguson was dominating him. You know? But for every fucking minute it was going on, it was fun to watch. That is for sure. Let's see. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. T. John says, I don't know why, but I watched Ferguson. I can't see him having a ton of success against McGregor. First round issues. Or Khabib takedowns. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still really curious to see how Khabib's style of top control would match up to Ferguson's style of guard. Because Ferguson is wild and nonstop. Khabib has never faced someone as tireless as Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson outlasted Rafael dos Anjos. I mean, dos Anjos didn't even get tired in their fight, which is crazy enough in itself because they fought an insane pace for 5 rounds in Mexico City, which high elevation and lots of smog. But even then, Ferguson was the fresher fighter at the end of the 5th round. That's something interesting for Khabib. But yeah, more and more I think, like, even though Ferguson is obviously really dangerous for someone like Conor down the stretch, too vulnerable in the first round. I think Conor might fuck him up. Dark Souls rolls. Tony Ferguson using some video game dodging skills. I would say Witcher rolls. That's my particular brand of nerdy fantasy game. But I know what you're saying. I get it. Beyblade spinning out here. Man, that was wild, huh, guys? Yeah, mad respect for Duke Roufus. For those who missed it, Duke Roufus stopped the fight because Anthony Pettis broke his right hand and was wilting against Ferguson. Pettis never would have given up if he had the call. So I thought it was a good stoppage. Good call from Duke. No reason for Tony to take more damage from other Tony. How do you not like Anthony Pettis? He's a very genuine, likable guy, I think. Rogan is interviewing him now. Appreciate the commentary is what people are saying. Thanks, guys. Glad you like it. I'm not going to show the fight for those asking. Sorry, can't do it. Stream would get taken down. UFC is way too litigious with that shit to get away with it. So if you're expecting that, sorry. It's not going to happen. Find it somewhere. But if you want some, if you have a way to watch the fight, a stream or a pay-per-view or whatever, you want some commentary, I am your guy. Do I think the hand is a convenient excuse? From one perspective, yeah. But also like a very realistic reason to stop that fight. Because like I said, all Pettis has, they're showing the blood on John Anik's shirt right now. Somehow got in the back of his shirt. That was a bloody fight. The thing is Pettis is most dangerous with his kicks. And other than that, he's got a really good, strong right hand that he throws straight and hard and fast. And there's not a lot of fundamental technique to back those things up. And even when he's relying on the right hand, it's usually a bad sign because it means the opponent is getting in his face and not letting him throw the kicks, which is exactly what Ferguson was doing. Tons of pressure, no room to kick. And your only weapon left is the right hand, and then it gets taken away. It gets broken. I think that's a good reason to stop that fight. Pettis was just going to absorb a lot of damage, and you would really be hoping against hope to think he might come back. Did I ignore some big rights from Pettis because of my ugly Tony bias? Do I have a bias? I like both of those guys. I don't feel particularly biased. No, I wasn't identifying every shot that was landing. Pettis was landing shots now and then, but largely he was getting beaten up to the body. He was under pressure and he was fighting back. I also look at the big picture of how the fight is going, right? He was fighting back and throwing those shots because he had to. They weren't bothering Ferguson, and every time he would land one, Ferguson would put 4 or 5 or 6 back on him. And Pettis was backed against the cage in a really bad position, not able to defend himself. He had to fight back. And even then, he could only manage like one good counter attempt every now and then. Most of them weren't that clean. The exchanges were clearly going Ferguson's way. So it's something. Not trying to be biased. I saw Ferguson winning those exchanges. Yeah, like Duke Roufus can say, oh, it's not because we got shit kicked. But honestly, I think as a coach, like Pillar of Wamu is saying, Duke can say, oh, it's not because we got shit kicked. It was the hand. He's saying it's a convenient excuse to stop that fight. I think it was a good reason to stop the fight. But also, I think it's good to think that way as a coach. Like, you want to be able to create excuses for your fighters. Your priority as a cornerman should be to protect your fighters. Because when you train a fighter, you train them to think they can't be beaten. They can't be broken. And at any moment, they can win. It's your job to know when the chances are becoming way too slim and it's better to just look out for their safety. So if you can say to your fighter, man, you were doing so good. We had some things to work on. It was rough. It was a war, but the hand was too much. It just wasn't, it wasn't worth it with that broken hand. And Anthony Pettis can take that home and think to himself, I'm good. My ego is safe. I'm still a fucking elite fighter. I broke my hand. It happens. I don't think that's a bad thing. Where does Pettis go from here? It's clear he can't hang with the elite, and he's brittle. Yeah, I would love to see Pettis in Bellator. I don't think that's a bad shout. There'd be some really fun fights for him there. The trouble is in a UFC, he's just going to get top fighters. I don't think he wants anything less. He still thinks of himself as a top fighter, even though he's losing his competitive edge or lost it a while ago to that caliber of opponent. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him in Bellator. The UFC will keep him around, though. I think people still show up to watch Tony fight, and I do too. So, it happens, man. It's sad. All the greats go down eventually. Isn't it a double-edged sword if you make your fighter think they're better than they truly are? All fighters think they're better than they truly are, right? Or they at least, like they have to think that in some version. It's self-preservation. I think you don't want your fighter to be overconfident, but a big part of a training camp, a big part of preparing for a specific opponent, a big part of learning technique is learning to feel confident. That matters almost more than anything else in the actual fight is, do you feel like you are winning? Or if things are going away from you, do you feel like you still can win? And if you don't, you shouldn't be fighting. So it's something you have to cultivate that in your fighters. We see what happens when UFC broken men goes to Bellator. They get paid less and get wrecked. I don't know if that's fair. Rory McDonald beat Douglas Lima. And then he did get wrecked in his last fight, but it was by Gegard Mousasi, other former UFC fighter. The old ones that they pick up get wrecked. I think Pettis is still close enough to his prime. Like, clearly, he can still compete with top fighters. He just can't hang with the best of the best most of the time. But he's super dangerous and experienced and tough still. So I think he could probably do well. And also in Bellator, a lot of the fighters get paid better than they do in the UFC. That's why they walk and go to another promotion. All right, guys. Yeah, it was a bad beating by Lima. Agreed. Granted, Lima might have the deadliest leg kicks in the sport right now. He's got huge power and great technique as a striker. But still, I mean, Rory is maybe nearing the end of his career. He's also becoming more brittle over time, more fragile. It's still a nice opportunity for him. I mean, what's he going to do in the UFC? Work his way to another title shot? Wasn't going to happen. So I like that the UFC has competition. Looks like Phil McKenzie's online. Does he want to join me on this Heavy Hands livecast? See. Welcome, people who are watching right now. I may or may not get my co-host Phil on here to talk about the fights with me, but if you're just joining me, joining us, I should say. We got 265 people in the chat right now. We are watching UFC 229. I am not going to show the fights on this channel, so if you're looking for that, you'll have to look somewhere else. Don't want to give you false expectations there. So if you still need to find the fight, find it. The main event is about to start. We just finished the co-main. And of course, the main event, if you're here already, is Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Conor's first MMA fight in, I think, about 2 years versus Khabib, who has been very active recently, despite a lot of injuries, and is undefeated, relentless wrestler, phenomenal, deadly ground game. It's a fascinating matchup. It is, in a lot of ways, the original style matchup. The reason MMA was created. grappler versus striker at the highest level. And interestingly, it's two guys who are mostly used to dominating everyone they face. So, like, who gets their way, it seems like they'll get to control the fight. But I don't know. We're looking at some special fighters here. All right. And if you would rather watch this later rather than having me comment on the fights, if you are interested but would enjoy the Joe Rogan commentary and all that for a big event like this, then this will go up on this YouTube channel where you're watching this currently. Hangouts will record this, hopefully, as long as no encoding issues happen. And you could rewatch the event later with my commentary if you want. And I'll try to include timestamps in there in the description to make it easier to sync up. So right now we're waiting on McGregor versus Nurmagomedov. Let's see what we got going on in the chat, folks. Connor, your co-host is the best analyst there with you. Pat Wyman was too arrogant, sorry to say. How dare you? I love Pat. But I'm glad you're enjoying Phil. I picked Phil for a reason. I thought he'd be a great fit. I enjoy doing the show with him. Whew. They're doing Sinead O'Connor's performance of that song she sang for the Mendez fight. McGregor's about to walk out. You'll be touching yourself if Phil joins me. Yeah, don't get your hopes up. I kind of assumed he wouldn't be around tonight. But this is kind of an off-the-cuff decision to do this. So next time, if he's willing to be up at like 5 in the morning, which is I think what time it is for him right now, then we'll do it. We'll do it with the both of us. Thanks, Chris. Glad you like the stash. Instead of the live cast, should I call this the Heavy Hands Mustache Ride? That'd be fun, right? Random question. If you buy a pay-per-view on Fight Pass, can you replay it later? I think you get it for a few days, maybe a week. And after that, you don't get to keep it indefinitely. But you can download it illegally. Wyman is a saint. Damn right. You guys should listen to Tides of History, by the way. If you like history, it's really good. That's Pat's other podcast. Damn, I'm going to hop up for a second, folks. I need more drink. Look what I found. Jameson Caskmates, I'm currently counter-programming Conor McGregor's whiskey. Somebody shouted this out before, I think, right? This is aged in craft beer barrels. Yeah. We'll see. I haven't tried it before. I like the fog machine. All right. Who you guys got? I'm picking Khabib here. Like everybody, I don't feel confident. It's two very dominant fighters, two specialists who crush people in their areas of expertise. But really, at the end of the day, for me, I think as long as Khabib can survive and tie Conor up, or even if he can't tie Conor up right away, if he can make him throw, if he can keep pressure on him, we have seen McGregor falter under those things. He's going to be super dangerous for Khabib. But it's also possible he maybe won't want to follow Khabib to the ground if Khabib isn't like out from a shot, if he goes down. He may have to be really cautious. The little we've seen of Khabib's guard looks good and dangerous. And tying up with him is just a recipe to get exhausted. Khabib is a really great athlete. He's very physically strong. He's got great stamina. People who grapple with him just tend to be shattered when they stand back up because it takes so much effort to compete with his combination of athleticism and technique. So, here we go, folks. Khabib making the walkout. Let's see. You guys picking Khabib? Coin toss on this one? Yeah, you certainly could. KO within the first few minutes or Khabib by mauling. That seems to be the general feeling. I think it is possible that, like, if McGregor can maintain distance, he's got great distance control and huge reach. He's super accurate. If he can keep Khabib from closing the distance, I mean, no one has, is the thing, but Khabib has never had to run into the shots McGregor throws. If he can convince him to back off and fight at range, he can also attrit Khabib. I'm thinking Khabib is going to have a greater chance of wearing McGregor down because as soon as they tie up, McGregor's not doing what he wants to do. Even if he is doing what he wants to do and Khabib is pressuring him, he's going to be throwing more than he wants to, which is a recipe for exhaustion. But if Khabib cannot get there, then McGregor's accuracy is going to be a problem. He can really wear people down, just pop you over and over and over with shocking shots that snap your head back and fill your eyes with water, and yeah, crippling body shots too. Like it's really interesting. All right. Kind of even on the picks. All right, I'm going to avoid the chat, guys. Khabib is on my stream currently being checked by the referee. I'm going to avoid the chat because it's likely, more likely than usual anyway, we get a very quick knockout or something. So I will let you know when each round of this fight starts if you want to sync up with me. If not, you will know what's happening about a minute before I do, and you can wait for my reaction. And in the meantime, I will try to offer what I can by way of technical analysis and color commentary. Khabib taking a nice swig of some Gamer Cum, #1 energy drink for gamers. Entering the octagon now, man. My nerves, folks. Woo! It's a big one. It's that big fight atmosphere. There's nothing like it, is there? Khabib appears to have walked out to Dagestani Rihanna. Or like the Chechnyan damn it, I fucked it up. What's the name I'm trying to think of? She sang at Ariana Grande. This is the Chechnyan Ariana Grande singing right now. Beautiful. All right. Guys are the same age. Khabib is 1 inch taller, but McGregor's arms are 4 inches longer. It goes without saying, like, McGregor has maybe the ideal kind of build for MMA. You know, he's tall and long, but he's got a short torso. He's got a runner's build. You know, he's got really long legs that he can use to kick, give him great movement, and really long arms and big hands. Like, that has something to do with power, I really believe. He's got big wrists and hands. Just look at him hanging on the end of his arms. Broad shoulders. He's got a great build, man, for generating power. And the problem is that his style, even more than a lot of punchers, demands a lot of energy. You know, like, it's a gambit. He's a super fast starter, faster, I think, than any other fighter in MMA. He can just instantly keys in on what you're doing. Oh, okay. Phil's online, folks, but he's watching at a friend's place. So my beloved co-host will not be joining us. He's got company, but that's all right. We're having fun time here. And yeah, McGregor's style is very taxing. He's a super fast starter. It's like he starts firing with timing and accuracy right away, which is really unusual. Almost every fighter has to warm up a little to get a feel for the distance, you know, just to be able to place your shots at the right point of extension where you're delivering maximum power and getting great snap. And it's hard to know where the other guy is before you touch him in MMA, but not for Conor McGregor. He just touches you with a massive shot right away. But that takes a lot of energy. And as I said, even if Khabib is doing well, there's a chance that, like, tactical wins for McGregor could be Pyrrhic victories, kind of, where strategically he's losing the latter 3 rounds by doing well in the first 2. I think that's more likely for him than it is for Khabib, which is why I very unconfidently pick Khabib. But we shall see. Good to have McGregor back, though, isn't it? Enough of that dumb Mayweather farce. He's doing his silly ass Vince McMahon swagger. He's such a showman. That press conference without the crowd there was lame. He's so much better with a crowd to react to. Khabib getting booze, because I bet like 3,000 Irish people are in Vegas right now. And also, I think people just like Conor better than they like Khabib. All right. I'm nervous. I can't even check the chat now. I bet you guys have some fun things to say and some questions to ask, but, like, maybe on your end, the fight has started and 10 seconds in, someone has been murdered. So no spoilers. I'll see it as it plays out. And I will let you know when round 1 begins. Ooh, I got to turn the Fight Pass markers off. So if you want to sync up with me, it's a stare down right now. Go ahead and pause it at the start of the first round. And if you want to watch at the same time as me, I'll let you know when my first round starts. Didn't even let them get close to each other for the stare down. No interest in touching gloves. No surprise there. No one ever wants to touch gloves with Conor, do they? Shit, it might throw him off if they did. All right, here we go. First round starting for me. Here we go. Whew. It begins. They are anxious to get it. Now, first round just started. Pressure from McGregor. Both guys, big left hand already. Both guys like to pressure, but Khabib is certainly more comfortable fighting off his back foot and more willing to do it. Still, Khabib should be pressuring, right? Because McGregor does not like being pressured. So it's more reward, but he's in on a single leg. McGregor is trying to reverse him. He's getting a waist lock around him. But he can't sprawl out his leg. It's already tied up. But this is not where he wanted to be seconds in. I mean, he's handling himself well. Trying to take the back. Almost getting on top of Khabib. Still, like, strategically, you have to be mindful. Lots of energy expended here. And Khabib does not mind having this kind of fight. They're just doing a silly little twirling dance on the single leg. McGregor is doing a great job denying the hips, but he's down. And against the fence, and Khabib is triangling his legs. This is something Khabib excels at. He gets you in these positions that I would call pins, even though they're not traditional pins. He doesn't need you flat against the ground. He wants you controlled in such a way that he has a free arm or two to work with. If he can control you and still have a free arm and space to use it, you're in trouble. Those are the positions he likes. And see this, he's just trying to get his leg underneath McGregor's calves, triangle his legs together, and then sit on his shins so he can't move. And if he can secure, McGregor's fighting really hard. He's pushing the head down. He's using the fence to his advantage, but it's a lot of effort. And if and when Khabib actually does secure it, as he just did, he can posture up safely and throw power punches from his knees. McGregor's doing a good job. He's wiggling his feet out, staying calm. But this is not McGregor's fight, first round in, and not a good sign. He's already been taken down like a minute in. Triangling the legs again. McGregor's bound to get frustrated eventually, right? He doesn't like pressure. Well, this is pressure. There is a man on top of him holding his feet together at the ankles. And no matter how many times he gets out, he just does it again. Now Khabib is landing shots. He doesn't have the full control he wants, but he is starting to wear on Conor McGregor. And Conor this is not his fight. Now, if he can stay chill here, like Khabib is not nearly as dangerous a finisher as Conor. So if he can retain his energy, he's going to have at least like a few seconds at the start of each round to try to knock Khabib's block off. So he's still going to be dangerous throughout the fight. But 2 minutes left for me in the first round, and it has been a Khabib round, no doubt about that. Conor landed one good left hand on the feet, and then low single, transition to a scramble, and he's been on his back ever since. Physical strength from Khabib, just getting a waist lock. McGregor's trying to slap at him, but Khabib gets one good shot in, and it's clearly the better shot of the whole exchange. Trying to push down Khabib's head, doesn't matter. Khabib is working on the legs, triangles him again. Now he's spinning away. He's pulling McGregor's feet toward the fence, so his head comes away from it. Now McGregor's on his back for the first time. He's not just on his butt, he is on his back with butterfly guard. Yeah, good luck getting the butterfly guard to work. See how Khabib is countering it by just keeping his hips high. And counterintuitively, even though that's what you want with butterfly hooks is to lift the other guy off, if you tripod up and have your hips a little higher, you just don't have enough leverage to actually lift the person off of you. They're already off of you, and they're holding you down with upper body instead. Khabib's grappling is just so smart, and it progresses so nicely from one position to the next. It's a perfect fucking grappling game. Half guard now, looking to pass. Going to a negative half guard here. Giving McGregor his back hip. It's Damian Maia's favorite position. One of them anyway. And he's raining down shots. Conor is, I want to remind you, this could it could go anywhere, right? It feels like already it's doomed for Conor because this is exactly what Khabib does to everyone, and here he is doing it to Conor. But 10 seconds or so remaining in the first round, very clearly a 10-9 or a 10-8 for Khabib Nurmagomedov. Dominic Cruz is saying he took no damage, and so he'd lost no energy. He took some damage. He could be fresh, but realistically, it's psychological for Conor too. We have seen that in his other fights. He doesn't like being pressured. He likes to be in control. And when he starts having to react, the tension that is like inherent to his style, how fast twitch he kind of is as a fighter, how he sort of finally adjusts his shots even after he starts to throw them. He's still thinking about where to place it. All of that tension becomes a problem when he is being forced to react, because suddenly he's not in control of when he tenses up. His opponent is. And that just means he's exhausting himself. We'll see, right? Conor's breathing heavy, but he doesn't look shattered. We'll see. He must have expected this too, right? I'm sure people were out wrestling him all the time in camp. So, and again, every round starts on the feet. Here we go. Round 2 is about to start for me. Hopefully no one got knocked out. Round 2 starts. Both guys too anxious. Starts right. Right now. Herb Dean backs Conor up, turns away to make Khabib do the same thing, and looks back and just says, Conor, because Conor has walked all the way to the center of the cage again. They are just too anxious to get at each other. Maybe it's a little psychological warfare too, right? Both guys trying to own the center before the round begins. Conor going for flying knees. Long left hands again. The round begins with him pressuring Khabib. Oh! Khabib dropped him. Right hand on the jaw. Woo! Conor was not expecting that, was he? Whew. Conor's back up, but he's hurt. He's hurt. He's throwing back, but he's hurt. And now the takedown. Yep. Conor has to plant his feet to counter. It's the only way to get Khabib off. And single leg, high crotch, he's down. Holy shit. Khabib is doing what Khabib does, people, to Conor McGregor. Now he's in a better mount. Just wait. Watch. Khabib's going to try to go 2-on-1 wrist control. No, he's in full mount. Doesn't even have to. Oh, here it goes. He's going to grab Conor's bottom wrist. He's going to grapevine an arm. Oh, he's going for an arm triangle here. No? Not really. He didn't really have the position. McGregor doing a good job shrimping, staying very active. He's back to a half butterfly guard. He's back to a butterfly guard. That's something. He's in open space, so he's almost certainly not going to get up without real threats being presented, but he survived. Oof, man. Khabib dropped him with an overhand right on the feet. That is nuts. That's what happens when you are only thinking about the takedown. That's the thing about this kind of matchup, right? Striker versus grappler at the highest level. Remember when Kevin Randleman knocked out Mirko Cro Cop? Everyone thought Cro Cop was the best striker in all of MMA, and guess what? If you really don't want to wrestle to take you down, he's got a good opportunity to hit you on the chin. Big shots coming down from Khabib. Surely it's like each passing minute, it becomes less and less likely that Conor can win this, especially now that he is starting to take damage and really having to fight hard to protect himself. Big elbow from Khabib. McGregor is just clinging to a closed guard. He doesn't really have any progression, which is kind of what we saw from his closed guard when he fought Chad Mendes. Oh, big straight left. Khabib is now standing up and just raining down shots. He might TKO Conor here. I mean, Conor is just covering up. Khabib is just happily raining down bombs. Oh, one after the other. Both hands. McGregor, he's going to get TKO'd, man. He's got to get out. He's going to get knocked out. That's got to be it. Seconds left. Well, it's Herb Dean, so he'll probably die first. He's doing his best. He's defending. He's going back and forth. He's keeping his hands up, but they are getting through. Man, like how does Conor psychologically recover from a round like this? He got dropped. That's what ended up leading him to the ground. He got dropped, then taken down. Oh, Conor cheats. There we go. Khabib is working on a Kimura, and he decided to knee Khabib in the head while they were on the ground. Now he's putting his toes in the fence. Hey, you know what? Winners cheat. Still got his toes in the fence. This Kimura, he's going to finish him with it. I don't know. No, he got out. But man, it's like once Khabib is starting to consider all of the many ways in which he should try to finish you, you are in a bad position. And typically you don't come back from that kind of position against Khabib. Yeah. There we go. A scramble. He's in on a guillotine now. See, that's the thing is McGregor can get back up, but not without putting himself in a really dangerous position. And now he's back up his feet, but look. Khabib's in on his hips already. He's got no space. He's got no choice but to keep wrestling. and he is gasping. He looks ragged now. Like the end of the first round, he was clearly tired already, but he looks ragged now. Khabib in on a single leg. It just doesn't. He'll wrestle all day, man. It's not about the first takedown. It's just about relentlessness and the many, many positions of control the eventual takedown leads to. And Conor is like thinking like desperation, like I can elbow him in the head. I don't know. But I mean, he has knocked a guy out like that, but again, clearly not his fight. Conor's still talking shit, but I don't think you're going to convince Khabib that you're in his head or you have some secret advantage after that. You know, you're not going to shake him after that. He just had his way with McGregor. So round 2 just ended for me. I will let you know when round 3 starts. If you want to start at the same time as me, if you're just joining me, I'm not showing the fights here. Sorry to disappoint you if that's your expectation. Just doing commentary. Technical analysis, I call it, but it's color commentary. That's what it is. And I'm counter-programming the man who is losing. I planned all of this ahead of time. I'm drinking Jameson Caskmates. Oop, I'm back in focus. Here's the replay. Watching the right hand from Khabib. Yep. Conor watching Khabib's hips. No idea a punch was coming instead of a takedown. That's MMA, baby. That happens. And here are some of the devastating shots from Khabib, who is just standing. Okay, round 3, about to start. Right now. Conor putting the pressure on, man. Start of every round, he's got a chance. We'll see. At least Khabib is letting him put the pressure on. He landed a jab there. Crowd goes wild. It was just a jab. Missing the left hand now. He's looking slow, you know. There we go. 1-2 from McGregor. Body shot. Okay, this is what he does. Pressure, keep Khabib on the end of the reach, and fire so he can't throw those big looping shots and catch you off guard. The trouble is McGregor likes to counter. So his instinct is to, once he puts the pressure on, to then wait and react. But he's adapting. He's doing what he can. The pressure is still a good idea, you know. I think he's less likely to be taken down if he's pushing Khabib back, keeping him on the end of his reach. Khabib does not look stressed, though. He's like, Conor's definitely slowed down. His hands aren't as quick as they were. I think he's just kind of chilling, waiting for the next opening for a shot. Yeah, commentary saying that Khabib is very fatigued, but he looks pretty chill to me. I mean, he's breathing. He's been fighting hard, but his legs, his feet still look nice and light. Punches are coming fast. He's still a very quick fighter. Just awkward on the feet, but in on a takedown, sprawled by McGregor. That's good. Now he's in the clinch. Let's see what he can do. Ooh, nice knee. Oop, jab from Khabib. Now Khabib is pressuring. This is where it gets dangerous. He hits Conor with a big right hand. If he can keep this pressure on, like, Conor's going to drop another round soon. So far, good start from McGregor, though. Yep. Shot into the takedown. Now they're against the fence. This is where Khabib likes to work. Good defense so far from McGregor, but the longer he has to wrestle, the likelier it is that he gets tired and more tired and then gets taken down again. Because if he can't get out of this position, yeah, he's trying, but there we go. There we go. Okay. Khabib broke there. Uppercut from McGregor. All right, baby. Head kick attempt. Ooh, he slipped. He's tired, but hey, you know what? Since that Diaz fight, he knows what it means to be tired. He's more comfortable than he was then, that's for sure. Shots from Khabib. Khabib can just let his hands go a little more. There's a big left hand from McGregor, and another one. Khabib beckoning him on, and now firing back. Very shaky defense, but still, like, again, could be Pyrrhic victories, because McGregor tires himself out throwing, too. He can't. But he's not getting in on takedowns. He is choosing to stand with McGregor. Perhaps he's too tired to feel like it's a good idea to just go for repeated shots. You would think that's what he should do, right? Is whether he's getting them or not, just pile on and keep attacking until Conor falls down. Conor looks for that counter left, missed just over the top. Could be back in the clinch. Knee from McGregor. Shot on the break. All right. Did not expect a round as good as this after those first two. I'll tell you that much. Khabib trying the body. Oh, counter knee from McGregor. All right. He's tied up against the fence again. He has rallied amazingly well after those first two rounds. He's down. Trip takedown. This is the good thing about Nurmagomedov's wrestling game, is that it's sort of like Ronda Rousey's judo clinch, in that like he hits you with the first attack, you react by posting a leg in that direction or whatever, however you stop yourself from falling down. And then that new position leaves you vulnerable to another angle. So he attacks the first takedown knowing you're going to rebalance yourself, and then he attacks the new weak angle that you've just created. And then he attacks the new one if you defend that. So it's about, basically it's combination wrestling. Just like combination punching, you throw 4 punches because the first 2 might miss, but the third and fourth one land. But at the very least, Khabib is now tying McGregor up. But still, this has got to be a confidence-boosting round for McGregor, right? And now he's back up on his feet against the fence. Whew, what a fight, man. I'm glad we got to see both ways that this fight can play out. I got to see Conor do a little work, too. And he's in this. He's hit the back of the head with an elbow. Khabib is complaining, but sorry, bitch, it's a fight. There's Dylan Danis with his stupid hair in the corner. All right. McGregor's round, I think. Insane, because he almost certainly gave up a 10-8 in round 2. Very likely in round 1 as well, but he just won a 10-9 for himself. And I don't know. Maybe Khabib's not creative enough to set him up for more takedowns. Yeah, his corner, Javier Mendez, is saying, don't let him look, just pressure him. I think that's the right idea. McGregor does not like being pressured. At the very least, if you make him back up, he's reacting to you. You don't want McGregor to be leading the dance. You want to have the initiative. Khabib is now complaining to the referee about McGregor's cheating. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. A lot of my favorite fighters, I don't mind when people point out the referees are there to enforce the rules, but like James Toney never said shit. He would just beat your ass and you would look worse because you had to cheat to lose to him. All right, round 4 about to start. If you want to sync up with me, round 4, McGregor Khabib. Here we go. Both guys a little tired. Starts right now. McGregor takes center of the cage. Pressure from him. Khabib throwing punches. He's slowing down now too. Very definitely. McGregor's catching the second wind. Left hook. Ooh. Khabib staggered McGregor there, actually. They traded hooks, I think, and he lost balance of it. I think he got clipped. And there's Khabib leading with a hook. He's got to be tricky with his strikes to get the takedowns in, right? Or he's got to commit to like 5 chained takedown attempts in a row. He just can't do anything in singles. McGregor's got layers. Much like an ogre or an onion. Front kicks from McGregor, one of his best weapons. Beautiful technique on that. He's starting to see Khabib's punches coming now. Nice little defensive move there. Blocked that one. Uppercut from Khabib. One of his favorite weird punches. Now he's throwing combos. Pressure. In on a double. He's deep. McGregor down. Doing a good job, though. He's got these long limbs, so Khabib isn't able to control that hand when he posts. Normally, he would get 2-on-1 on that hand and break you down in such a way that he's got your arm trapped once you are down, so you can't get back up again. He's going to work for it, though. This is what we need, the chain wrestling. He's going to lean on McGregor this way, then maybe he'll put a leg behind his leg and trip him backwards. Maybe he'll switch to a double and lift him into the air. Maybe he'll kick a foot out from underneath him. It's all about getting you to defend one direction, just like that. Pulls him into a back mount. Beautiful. And then switching to another. McGregor scrambling. Khabib's on top. His wrestling is good, folks, but it is really the ground game of Khabib that is sensationally good. His grappling technique His strength, his stamina is crazy. He's working on an arm triangle now. Now he's doing this weird thing where he's going for the head arm position with his arm that's supposed to be doing the choking under McGregor's armpit on the far side. I think he just wants to trap his arms up so he can hit him in the body or something, maybe. I don't know. If he's going for a submission, it's not one I'm familiar with. 2.5 minutes remaining, just about, in round 4. McGregor, he's got energy, man. He has definitely recovered some since that second round, especially. But he is trapped on the bottom. He's in a weird sort of semi-mount, a leg mount position. Yeah, he's just in a bad spot, man. As you always are when you grapple with Khabib. Full mount now. McGregor bucking his hips, but it's lots of energy. Khabib's on the back. Rear naked choke. He's got it. No, it's not under the chin. He's got it. Tapped. There it is, folks. He choked Conor McGregor out, forced him to tap in the 4th round. Wow, 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 wow. And he is amped. Holy shit. Well, sorry, folks. Ramzan Kadyrov won. I really was gunning for Conor emotionally in this one. I was rooting for him. Khabib is running into the crowd to fight Dylan Dennis. Why would you put all of this on the line to fight Dylan Dennis, of all people? I mean, come on. McGregor ran out of the cage when he beat Mendes to talk shit to Jose Aldo. Good idea. Dylan Dennis? Who gives a fuck? Okay, now the corner teams are fighting in the cage. Yeah, McGregor is now wrestling with one of Khabib's cornermen. Holy shit. This is a fucking shit show. Sometimes, folks, these things happen in MMA. Oh my goodness. What a shit show. Yeah, he went after Dylan Dennis, folks. How bad is that? Ooh, what an event. Oh my God. Yeah. Out of character, is it? I don't know. Khabib did come with like a gang of 50 dudes, right? To intimidate Artem Lobov. So maybe not out of character. I mean, he comes from a very rough country and is deeply embedded in a society that need I remind you, hunts down and executes gay people in the streets. So don't know. Maybe not all that out of character, but we'll see. It's like he hangs out with terrible people and a warlord or something. Yeah. Yeah, good point. All right, folks. Well, what did you think, huh? What are your thoughts? I'm back on the chat now. No risk of spoilers. Yeah, that was a shit show. There was no need for that. I mean, I'm not about my respectability and all that, but like Khabib runs out into the crowd to fight Dylan Dennis. Like, who gives a shit? If you're bothered by what Dylan Dennis has to say, like, just point out that he's wearing a stupid shirt and go home. And then Khabib's corner attacking Conor while he's sitting on a stool. Like, what the fuck is that? Was that Ali Abdelaziz's idea? Yeah, way to stain a super impressive win. Although, I mean, I don't know. People will still be talking about it, no doubt. But it was a shithead move, no doubt. Dana White is coming over to scold Khabib. Dana White's like, listen, I run a respectable operation here, okay? Remember that guy who shouted out his homie Brett Kavanaugh earlier? Yeah, we replayed that shit on TV. All right, we wanted people to hear it twice. I run a respectable organization. Now don't embarrass us. Crowd is booing Khabib. Yeah, they're not going to cheer for you after that win, my friend. Sorry. You just fucked it up for this crowd, at least. What's the topic? Welcome. I'm watching UFC 229. Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov doing a color commentary and technical analysis. The main event just ended. Spoilers. Close the window now if you don't want to know. Khabib Nurmagomedov just choked out Conor McGregor in the 4th round after a really impressive rally from McGregor. Like, it really genuinely was. Remember when we thought Brock saying he didn't like the sponsor's beer was the way to ruin a card? I don't know. I thought we all loved that moment, didn't we? All right. Got some nice comments. Thanks, guys. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed this commentary. Stick around. I'll still be talking about what's going on here in the cage and listening to the post-fight interviews, maybe answering some questions for a little while at least, now that the fight's done. Here we go. Replay of the finish for me. There's that multi-layered takedown attack. Yeah, he didn't even need it under the chin. The thing with getting the choke under the chin is like it's trouble. It's harder to finish it the traditional way. But this is a Hoffa El Lovato trick. But if you get it over the chin, like try this, you tuck your chin into your own neck, like Conor's is in this position here, and push your chin in. And you can't breathe, right? Your own jaw cuts off your windpipe. And so it becomes a different kind of choke, but you can tuck your chin, and a smart grappler who knows that adjustment will still choke you out. The trick is to not give up your back and let someone get both arms around your neck. Conor McGregor leaving the octagon. We're not going to get any post-fight interview, but that's probably because these two just had a giant brawl in the middle of the cage. What a weird... This is MMA, folks. What a bizarre way to end a sensationally exciting fight card. People on Twitter saying Khabib should be DQ'd. I mean, I'm not like that morally upset about it, but pretty dumb, right? Just knowing that that could be a possibility because it looks like such a bad PR move. Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you want to fight Dylan Dennis? You just beat Conor McGregor. You beat the guy that Dylan Dennis, like, Dylan Dennis has a picture of Conor McGregor taped to his bathroom mirror, and he spends every morning dreaming that someday he will be him. You beat the real thing. You don't got to fight Dylan Dennis. It doesn't matter. So stupid. And there's still like all this argumentation and shit going on. Like tempers are still flaring. What the fuck are you doing? You won. Get over it. Really stupid move from Khabib. Like absolutely thoughtless. Good fight IQ. Bad general IQ. Now commissioner people in their nice suits are in here scolding him. Maybe those are WME people. Khabib is on some Diaz shit. I will tell you that much. Joe Rogan talking about how it's not a game to him. It's not. I don't think he doesn't seem capable of treating it like McGregor does. It's like, ooh. Dana's telling him, if I put this belt on you, hell might break loose and people are going to get hurt. He's saying he can't give him the belt. They're escorting Khabib out of the octagon without giving him the belt or a post-fight interview. Wow, wow, wow. Smart move from Dana, I gotta say. Someone in the comments saying Dana handled this in terms of crowd safety well. Yeah, because this crowd is furious right now what they just saw. They were already partisan supporters of Conor mostly, based on who got cheers and who got boos when they came out. Throwing their Irish flags at Khabib and his security detail. What a shit show, folks. What a shit show. All right. Well, before we sign off, what are your thoughts? Anyone in the chat got any questions? Any comments for future editions of this kind of live cast? Thoughts on what just happened? Thoughts on the fight? They are throwing shit at Khabib as he walks out. They're just dropping bottles of water, beer cans on him. I mean, bro, you made a really dumb move. I'm sorry. You know, when keeping it real goes wrong. UFC edition. A lonely Bruce Buffer announces the results. He is still the champion. So it's not like he has immediately lost the belt. It's just they weren't going to put that shit on him and try to celebrate him and let him talk shit to the crowd after that. Yeah, that was probably the exact right move from a crowd safety and PR perspective. Not that I give a shit about PR, but wild, huh? What the fuck? All right, what we got in the comments? I'll read a little bit out of this. Conor should have just passed out, not tapped. Well, the problem there is I think the way he was being choked. I mean, people tap. It's a part of the sport. You know you're being beaten. You tap. There's nothing wrong with that. The way he was being choked, I think, was more of a wind choke than a blood choke. More of a, I don't know, a strangle than a choke. I don't know what the distinction is necessarily. But this is what makes you pass out. Pressure on the carotid arteries. This, squishing your windpipe with your own jaw, cuts off your air. Might take like a minute for you to pass out. So like he tapped. It's fine. He was being submitted. That's why they call it a submission. Let's see. I should do a live cast for every card. That's probably not going to be a possibility, but I enjoyed this. And it seems like a good number of people enjoyed it too. So I will probably do them more frequently in the future. And maybe get Phil on here. Maybe I can get Zane Simon on here. Other people I do analysis stuff with. Maybe I can get Pat on for one someday. We'll see. Let's see. So the UFC 230 main event is now going to be Diaz versus Poirier for the vacant lightweight title. No, it looks like Khabib is still the champ. And I think the main event is still going to be Shevchenko versus Eubanks, which to think that we probably lose a main event that is Diaz Poirier, which should be 5 rounds, and also lose Shevchenko versus Jędrzejczyk, which has a backstory and everything, in order to have Ciara Eubanks, who's like 1-1 in the UFC. Like, I like Ciara Eubanks. It's not even kind to her. Like, let her develop. Give her a couple more wins, and then she can get a title shot, and people will know who she is, and she'll be better prepared. I just don't care about that fight right now. I don't want to see it. I would rather see the other 2 fights that were taken away from us. So, yeah, I think the main event's still going to be that stupid Shevchenko fight. Who make Khabib so mad? Dylan Dennis. He makes us all mad, but you can't believe he tapped. Well, that's what you do, man. I mean, like, it's not shameful to tap. That's part of MMA. You don't just let somebody snap your limbs or put you to sleep every time you're being submitted. You submit. People think they're suspending Khabib. It's certainly possible, man. Like, just from a PR perspective, that did not look good. He lost the crowd in an instant. Does Conor retire? He got thoroughly dominated. I wouldn't think so. I mean, he might want to. I doubt it, though. And everyone gets dominated by Khabib. Everyone except Gleison Tebow and Pat Healy. Big-ass wrestlers. So maybe Kevin Lee versus Khabib next. Wouldn't that be fun? Unfortunately, I think Kevin would gas. But big, strong wrestler. That's interesting. He has struggled with those before. Let's see. Conor had a good fight. Round 3 was for him. I agree, man. I was super impressed with how he rallied to put on that striking clinic in round 3. Very, very nice showing. He got out grappled. This fight was going to go one of two ways, right? A two true outcome contest. And it happened that Khabib got his way. You have to do this more. I subscribe. I will do this more. This ending sucked. Yes, it did. It started a long time before the bus. I didn't condone Conor chucking a dolly at the bus. It's true, right? Like, not like Khabib has no reason to be upset. Now, Conor did that in retaliation for Khabib's people cornering Artem, but he didn't have to get fucking coked up and throw a hand truck through a bus window with 15 other fighters sitting on it. You know what I mean? Like, that was a dickhead move, too. And just the fact it didn't happen in front of a crowd after a gigantic success, it was just a stupid fucking decision. So both of these guys have been assholes in the lead up to this and in the aftermath. Dana is already the color of those NSAC officials' blazers. Yeah, the security people or whatever they're called. Let's see. Willis is saying what? All right, guys. Some of you splitting. It's cool. It's cool. Thank you very much for joining. I guess this has become a little bit of a post-fight show. Who won? Who won? All right, folks. So for those of you who are tuning in for the post-fight show here, spoilers. Click close real quick right now if you don't want to know. But Khabib Nurmagomedov just submitted Conor McGregor in the 4th round. He ate a big left hand and then quickly took Conor down in the 1st round. I say quickly. He got in on a low single. They scrambled for a while. But if you can't get Khabib's hands unclasped, you're getting taken down. And Conor couldn't. He did. 2nd round was worse, quicker with the takedown, much more damage with the ground and pound. Very likely a 10-8 round for Khabib, almost certainly. Round 3, McGregor defied expectations and rallied, put on a great striking performance. Khabib seemed to be slowing down as Conor caught a second wind. And then round 4, Khabib's second wind, big double leg takedown, trip finish, took Conor's back in a scramble and choked him out. Rear naked choke. Got it. McGregor tucked his chin, but it didn't matter. He had to tap. And then Khabib Nurmagomedov leapt the cage, ran out into the crowd, and tried to brawl with Dylan Dennis, who, as we all know, was surely the most important person in the room that night. And then some of his people appeared to attack Conor McGregor as he was sitting on the stool after the finish. So, yeah, I don't know. As far as for how it played out, that's kind of why I picked Khabib, was exactly that. Every passing minute of this fight, for the most part anyway, was just worse and worse and worse for McGregor. He has stamina issues. He's clearly making some improvements and learning to adapt to that, which is great. Like James Toney always got tired, but James Toney almost always won the 12th round because he conserved his energy. He fought smart. So some signs there. But still, stamina issues against Khabib is a problem. Also, he would have to land one perfect fucking punch or a succession of punches to convince Khabib not to pressure him. And of the two, Khabib is far more comfortable being pressured than Conor is, right? So Conor McGregor really needed to be pressuring to win this fight. And every moment of the fight that he wasn't pressuring, he was losing. That's kind of how it played out. Do you guys want a brief recap of the rest of the card? Real quick, like Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis had a war. Pettis had to retire on the stool. Duke Rufus stopped the fight because he broke his hand. Dominic Reyes, light heavyweight prospect, showed up, very nearly knocked OSP, Ovince St. Preux, out in the 3rd round. Walked away after dropping him with a beautiful counter left hand off a lovely angle change. Walked away, didn't seal the deal, so it wasn't a finish, but he dominated every round and then finished the man in the end. So a super impressive performance against a very experienced and very tough light heavyweight in Ovince St. Preux. And Reyes has only been fighting for like 3 odd years. So that's a huge win. Derek Lewis lost every single minute of a fight with Alexander Volkov and then knocked him out in the final 20 seconds, which is the most Derek Lewis thing that has ever happened. And in the main card opener, the first one I covered on this show, I missed some of the prelims. Michelle Waterson beat Felice Herrig. She just was a lot more active, more dynamic, and more aggressive, and Felice couldn't keep up with her. So that's it. I think I'm going to wrap it up, guys, unless you got any more really fascinating comments here. Let's see. Any final parting words before we go? Yep. What do I think will be the consequences of Khabib's actions? I think at the very least, because it's a bad PR move, the crowd was already against him. People online are not taking this well. They're certainly not being as forgiving of Khabib as they are of Nate Diaz, which fair. Nate Diaz is not associated with a monstrous dictator. I don't know. I think he might be suspended at the very least by the commission. The UFC may decide it's best to strip his belt. I mean, I kind of doubt it, but who knows? The belts mean nothing nowadays. They strip them willy nilly. So if Khabib does get suspended, they very well may strip it and be like, okay, let's have Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee again, or Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor, or something like that for a title. Who knows? What else? Do I think Conor was exhausted by the end of round 2 and his comeback in round 3 was actually Khabib taking his foot off the gas and sparring with a not so dangerous Conor? In a sense, I think Khabib allowed McGregor to pressure him a bit because I think he was conserving his energy. He went for a takedown quickly, didn't get it, and then I think he thought, okay, lay off for a minute, maybe. At the same time, allowing Conor McGregor to pressure, dangerous, and Conor did a great job taking advantage of that. I thought he did a really good showing, and he lost the way everyone loses to Khabib, and that was always going to be the way he lost if he lost this fight. Khabib only does one damn thing to people, when he's really having his way, and Conor's not a wrestler. It's not his game. So let's see. All right, boring fight. You're a fool, buddy. Sorry, you're wrong. It was not a boring fight. Yes, I know that Conor attacked Artem. This is how stupid feuds work, right? Or Khabib attacked Artem, so then Conor attacked. Clearly, the best response to some guy ganging up on your friend is to then gang up on him and a bunch of other people who have nothing to do with it and break a window. And yeah, no, it's been stupid since the beginning. It's just gotten more stupid. And tonight we saw the culmination. Surely the most stupid of the entire part. It was boring. I'm sorry. You guys were rooting for Conor. I know you were, right? It was not fucking boring. Khabib was absolutely mauling McGregor on the ground, throwing heat. Come on. And then McGregor had a great rally in the 3rd round. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This will be up on YouTube if you missed most of this, but you want to watch some of the fights, if you're curious, if you want to watch any other part of the main card with my commentary, this will be posted to my YouTube channel, the one you're watching it on right now. I will try to add in some timestamps, probably tomorrow in the afternoon sometime, so you can have an easy reference and you can sync up and watch it later if you want. If not, make sure to check out my podcast, Heavy Hands. We do this kind of stuff, not live, but we do breakdowns of fighting technique, previews, recaps, and analysis of all sorts. The original show dedicated to the finer points of face punching with my lovely co-host, Phil McKenzie. Follow me on Twitter. If you are on there, I'm at Boxing Bush, B-U-S-C-H. If you want to follow Phil as well, he's a fantastic follow. Very funny, great insight, very smart guy who knows a lot about this sport. He is at Evil Greg Jackson on Twitter. And yeah, keep your ears peeled. Heavy Hands comes out this week on Wednesday. Video will be posted on this channel, or you can find it on Libsyn. Check out our Patreon, blah, blah, blah. Lots of plugs. Thank you guys again for tuning in. And hopefully we'll do this again soon. And I'll see you then.